thumbs up, everyone. Thumbs up. Happy Thursday, thumbs up. We are 16 days into the new year, baby. We are 16 days into the new year, baby. And it's a lot going on. What? And you guys coming in, thumbs up the video. This is so important. Thumbs up. Those same fingers that y'all use to click on the video, please use to hit the thumbs up. We need all of that. We be working over her. We're probably going to have a full day of live streaming, so there's going to be a lot going on today. Make sure that you guys thumbs up. If I have time, I will be dropping the link and let you guys come up here and sound off. Wendy Williams done pulled up, girl. She done pulled up. She had time today because she was outside today. All right. Thumbs up. You guys are coming in. All donation information is in the description box below. It's also in the ticker right here. Make sure you guys are sharing the platform out, and subscribe if you're new here. Oh, yes, God. Subscribe if you're new here, but yes, God. Yes. Also, I am, this conversation is going to be very complex, all right? It's going to be a complicated commentary, all right? So just bear with me, baby. It's going to be a complicated commentary, all right? Y'all know what type of spirit I'm in these days, all right? It's going to be a complicated commentary. So just be prepared for that, baby. Set your expectations aside. You don't know where I'm going, where I'm not going to go. It's going to be a complicated commentary. All right. So just yeah, all of that. All of that, baby. All right. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. It is your favorite commentary, CTV. And we are here on this beautiful, gorgeous Thursday, baby, to get into the mess, baby. Okay, Miss Wendy Williams got it going on, Great. All right, before we go ahead and get into it, make sure that you guys thumbs up the video until it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. Also, shout out to all the new subbies. Make sure you guys have your notification bell set to all. And last but not least, please share the stream out to whatever it is you have digital community at, whether that be your YouTube community, while your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're live, and we are certainly in color. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, you guys? What is going on, baby? Let me speak to the country crew in the building. What's going on? Just be real. Hey, Coco. What's going on? Miss Nolan. What's going on, Carolyn? Hey, Tam. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Sin. Hey, Aaron. Hey, TW. Hey, CJ's daughter. Hey, Boo. Thank you, love. Welcome to the platform, baby. Ain't seen you in a minute. Glad you are doing well. What's going on, Say Less Astrology? Hey, Boo. What's going on, Janny? Hey, Iron Gardner. Hey, Rumors and Tea. What's going on, Brown Mommy? What's going on, Homebody Candace? What's going on, Old Nancy Piece of Todd? What's going on, Shayla? Hey, y'all. What's going on, Shauna? Hey, Boo. Hey, Katie. Hey, Dawn. What's going on, the Dada? Hey, y'all. All right, you guys. So let's get straight into it. It's a lot going on. You guys know that Wendy Williams' interview was heavily anticipated on yesterday when the Breakfast Club made its announcement that she would be pooching on through, girl, to break her silence. All right. Of course, we have not heard from Wendy since the infamous, iconic documentary that got the pot stirring, child. All right. Well, Wendy Williams not only pulled up on the Breakfast Club, she also pulled up on Don Lemon's platform. So she had a whole press run today. All right. Her and her niece Alex spoke to both Charlemagne the Goddess, spoke to Light Skin Envy, and also spoke to Don Lemon Girl, and she practically said the same thing in both interviews. Now, I'm going to play a few excerpts from the Breakfast Club interview, and I'm also going to give some notes in case you guys have not seen it yet and need to be caught up. And then I'm going to give my very complex commentary that you guys are going to have to, you know, buckle up for, girl, because it's probably not going to be what you think entirely. Some of it going to be what you're looking for. Some of it ain't going to be what you're looking for. All right. But CTV got to do CTV. Okay. I can't worry about y'all. What's going on, Britney? Hey, Serena. What's going on, Corey? All right. So let's get into an old nasty Breakfast Club interview, child. I'm just going to go over the keynotes of what Wendy spoke about. Grill, bloop. All right. So of course, in the Breakfast Club interview, Wendy spoke about her guardianship, aka her conservatorship. We know kind of what this looks like, given everything that Britney Spears had went through and endured, and Britney Spears ultimately was able to be freed from her guardianship, aka conservatorship. All right, so hope is a real thing. All right. They spoke about Sabrina Morrison, who is Wendy's guardian, aka her handler. All right. This is also the woman that Wendy referred to in the Breakfast Club interview as a monster. All right. When Charlemagne asked her if she had watched the documentary and what her thoughts were, Wendy actually said that her and Sabrina, aka her handler and the monster, watched the documentary together. They both took notes from the documentary, and that it was actually Sabrina who wanted the documentary done. So it is actually interesting, considering that Sabrina also filed a lawsuit against the production company and against A&E, the network, and made claims that she was being exploited. Wendy Williams, that is, when according to Wendy, Sabrina was in cahoots with the manifestation and production of said documentary. All right. Now, I'm going to assume that Sabrina did not take too kindly what the documentary revealed, because obviously for her to have signed up for it and to agree to it, she thought that this documentary was going to what? If anything, end up in her favor, would end up really blowing Sabrina's spot and allowing the family and the public to really question the nature of the conservatorship, why she was chained up like this, why she don't have access to her money, why is her family given limited access, what is all of this going on? Like, it was just a mess. So the documentary did not turn out the way that obviously Sabrina expected it to, so she done filed suit accordingly. Wendy described her guardianship as a glamorized prison, according to her niece, actually. Wendy said that she can't even get off the floor of the facility that she's in without authorization, that it takes keys and various buttons and contraptions for her to even get off of the floor. So I would imagine that Wendy, what I see in my mind is like an old folks facility, a high-rise old folks facility. She has nurses. She has a traditional like hospital-y room type scenario with her own bathroom, and she has one window to look out of and a big ass rich TV and a bedpan and a bed. All right. The female co-host talked about trying to see Wendy, who had invited her to come see her, but when she got to the facility, the co-host was told by the authorities at the facility that they did not even have a Wendy, nor did they have a Sabrina Morrison in their system. And despite the co-host putting the facility authorities on the phone with Wendy, who acknowledged the co-host was invited, Wendy even offered to come down to get the co-host. The facility still told the co-host that there was no Wendy Williams, child. So, wow, there's a major cover up and discrepancy taking place all up in that. More than likely, Sabrina Morrison put a halt to that. And obviously, Sabrina Morrison has the facility on lockdown in terms of her being able to control who has access to Wendy and who does not have access to Wendy. When Charlamagne asked her about her medicine, or do they have her on meds? Is her alleged condition being treated? Wendy said that she hasn't done pills in a long amount of time, baby. Okay, that was her exact verbiage. A long amount of time. I'm assuming that she, in that instance, was referring to her drug usage, baby. Okay. But then she went in to talk about how she doesn't know what the hell is in these pharmaceutical drugs that she's taking. Nobody has explained to her what they do, what they treat, etc. Charlamagne encouraged her ass not to take the pills. I want Charlamagne to be very careful with telling Wendy ass not to take her medicine, because for all I know, it may have her Mighty Morphin Power Rangering right into this here on the screen, baby. Okay? Bald head, alopecia, baby hairless, hairline, the roof and the ceiling missing all at once, baby. It may be a full-on degeneration, baby. So Charlamagne, you just worry about taking your damn medicine, baby. Don't be encouraging Wendy to not take her damn sucking place pills. All right. Also, her niece, Alex, discussed how they can't contact Wendy Williams, but Wendy can contact them. So, they have no way of really getting to Wendy. They have to just wait around for Wendy to get in contact with them, because that's how much proximity is being controlled. Wendy said that she spent the last 3 birthdays by herself, and she is experiencing emotional abuse. She said the people on her floor, as in the other patients, are actually fucked up and incapacitated, but not her. She's in her right mind, and she doesn't feel she needs to be in a situation like this, child. All right? When Charlamagne asked, what is it, or when Jess Hilarious, who, ironically, a lot of the Breakfast Club fans did not want Jess Hilarious in this interview. I have noticed that, like, the energy around Jess Hilarious as it relates to the Breakfast Club, like, the public perception around her is very weird, because there's like a very notable segment of the Breakfast Club fans that do not fuck with Jess. I don't know why. I have heard various critiques in passing about Jess not being that articulate, coming off as a big-eyed dummy. But I'm not really sure what the exact issue is around Jess Hilarious and why there seems to be like mixed reviews regarding her presence on the Breakfast Club, but it was very notable in the Instagram comment sections of the blogs when they had posted the promotions for this interview, child. Everybody was like, "Oh, I hope Jess not there. I hope Jess not there." I mean, I'm indifferent toward Jess. I don't like her or dislike her. I mean, I could, leave or take her, but that was interesting. When she asked, nonetheless, though, what can the public do? I don't know what somebody asked. It was either Charlamagne or Jess who asked, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Denise said, #free Wendy. So everywhere there's going to be Wendy, whether it's on the blogs, whether it's under videos, whether it's all up and down Twitter, hashtag free Wendy everywhere, free Wendy, free Wendy, free Wendy. She also spoke about there being a change.org campaign up for her. I have not seen that change.org campaign. I might try to pull it up. And she basically just said, like, make GoFundMe. Make GoFundMe. She also mentioned a GoFundMe and just basically said, just make noise. Just make noise. They just need the public to cry aloud, to shake the table, to sound the fuck off, keep the conversations alive, and to just come outside with your love and your respect and your protectiveness of Wendy. The public just need to continue to aggressively sound the fuck off. Something equivalent to, once again, all of the backing that was behind Britney Spears. All right, they want that same energy from Miss Wendy Williams. Now, the interview got really emotional when it came to Wendy talking about her father. Her father is 94 years of age. She loves her father dearly. And she spoke in the interview about not knowing if Sabrina Morrison, aka the Guardian, aka the monster, aka her handler, will let her even go see her 94-year-old father for his birthday in Miami coming up. She got very emotional talking about this. And let me just play an excerpt from the interview so you guys can hear Wendy cry aloud. As you guys are coming in, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up the video. Oh, thumb it up, child. All right, this is Wendy on the Breakfast Club talking about her father and getting very emotional. Listen to this. And of course, this is covered by no other than Fair Use.
Like, I'm exhausted thinking about, what if I can't see my dad for his birthday? You know, at 94, you know, the day after that is not promised. It's not promised. You know, I have things from my dad that's in storage. And they're little things that I say, you know, I'm not going to give it to him, but I'm going to sew them and make them so that they look perfect on me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I know how to sew. I've known how to sew for years. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, I want to give my dad some sort of fragrance. You know, I want to go to Sephora and pick and choose. What? My life is like fucked up.
Yeah.
It is.
Alex, do you think that there'll be some type of retaliation from the Guardian because of maybe this phone call or because of wow.
We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my aunt, even with her wanting to come on, we talked about all scenarios. I said, you know, do this. You ready for what's on the other side? And as she said, I have to do this. There's nothing else I could do at this point. She's prepared for the fact that her phone might be taken away.
What if they take my phone? I won't be able to talk to anybody.
Yeah. And, you know, you all, what you're hearing now, this is a few-minute clip of what we've been dealing with for the last several months and the last 2-3 years.
Wow.
Like, what the hell?
Like, she can get moved and we may not even know where she is.
Wow.
That was the reality of where she was during the documentary. We weren't permitted to go see her. So this whole documentary aired. Nobody's able to call her. Nobody's able to see her. You know, the reason why I was doing the stuff with The View and Good Morning America was because she was nowhere to be found.
Wow. In the meantime, you know,
what are we going to do about that?
Listen, here's the weird thing.
Now I do have questions about that because we saw the documentary. She was able to see her family in her documentary. I'm not saying that they were able to see her to the extent in which they desired, but I mean, she even went to Miami. Oh, wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. I don't think she was supposed to go to Miami. I think that's where some of the issues came in, is that they took an unauthorized trip to Miami. I forget the details, but her family was in the documentary. We saw her with her son and everything. But apparently there was complications around the Miami trip. The fact that Black China has more access to Wendy than her own family does is really fucking sad. And like everybody is saying in the comment section, obviously this is about money. The whole thing started around money. this whole thing started off around her son allegedly taking a quantifiable amount of money out of her bank account. I think it was like $75,000 to $100,000 that went missing from her bank account. This put the bank on alert, and then from there we saw the trickle down effect, and they locked up her money. And then shortly after that, you know, she was back in the rehab and then the conservatorship, and it seemed like there was a domino effect. Now, you guys know that her son has stood his ground and defended himself, saying that he did not do anything with his mom's account or money that was without her authorization, and that apparently the $75,000 to $100,000 went toward his birthday situation. And once again, he is the son of a high-profile, wealthy, famous woman. You know, we all grew up watching MTV's My Sweet 16. So celebrities spend ridiculous amounts of money and spoil their kids up in that way. I'm still confused on why the fuck Wells Fargo or Chase or whomever the institution was of banking, why they made the exception to highlight this amount of money coming out of her account versus every other human being that has and holds a account for the bank. Are they monitoring everybody else to the same degree? Like, what was it about why Wendy account was kind of targeted in this way? Sabrina worked for Wells Fargo. She influenced that decision. Well, there you have it. That's the answer to that. So that's interesting. Very interesting.
And while you're on The View, right, I got the telephone number. I could call Joy Behar, but my number is with The Guardian. I could call my friend Rosanna Scotto. I could call Fat Joe. I could call Alex. My number is not in storage, but my Guardian person has my phone.
Right.
God damn.
Alex, let me ask you a question.
Excuse me, has had it for 3 years, by the way.
She's had your phone for 3 years, and she got control of all your bank accounts and everything? Wow. Okay. Said, yeah. Okay. Right.
Now, Alex,
but that's what the news report said. The news report said she has control of your bank accounts and everything.
Besides the Instagram and social media, who can we write? Who can we stay on top of? Whether it's her boss, what agency? Because this has to go bigger than just social media.
You want me to? I'll send people up there.
Please.
We got the address. You want me to just? I'll put the address out there right now.
Well, let's not send people up there.
We have a mob outside of that
facility. Yeah, we can pick it outside. You can pick it outside and do that outside.
Do not do that.
But do we have an email?
Oh my God! No! You want to know what? Please.
I was there yesterday. Do not do that.
No, not there. To Sabrina's place.
Do we have an email for Sabrina that we can email and just have people say, "Yo, what's going on? What's up?" But by the way,
can I tell you?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I tell you something? Other than when I was able to purchase like a whole bunch of I got like nail polish and lipstick and things like that. Otherwise, because I'm here in New York, the Guardian has somebody get me like nail polish and, like the normal things that I like. Like, I need a new hairbrush, please. Go out and get it for me and bring it back. Oh, no, this is not the one that I want, but I guess this is the one that I'm forced to use. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. What about eyelashes? What about eyelashes?
Look.
All right. So there's a lot going on there. Welcome to the platform, Tammy. Welcome, boo. Thank you for being here. And we're definitely going to get super real in this convo, so I hope y'all ready, baby. This ain't going to be no walk down the yellow brick road. It's going to be a very complicated commentary. All right, she went on to also talk about Linda. Well, Charlemagne pointed this out, baby, okay? Not only was Sabrina Morrissey an employee at the Wells Fargo Bank that stripped or shut down and seized control of Wendy's account, but according to Charlemagne, Wendy's attorney, Linda, made a financial contribution to the judge after being assigned to Wendy's case. That is very scandalous. And as Charlemagne said, a conflict of interest. That is buck wild. Why in the fact that was able to be done, why there was no reprimanding, why the judge was not reassigned, why the attorney was not reassigned, why that issue was not pressed upon is insane. Okay, but apparently Wendy's attorney Linda made a financial contribution to the judge. And what you will find a lot of times, just like in Britney Spears' case, when it came to her guardianship, is that it usually involves a tethering and almost an assimilating and community of all these administrative folk on the same page. The judge, the attorney, the guardian, sometimes the family, all in cahoots around the control of said individual. So I'm not surprised that judges and attorneys and lawyers and other individuals are in this type of a coop, in this type of a damn cabal, in a damn matrix, in this damn nest, in this damn web tethered together for their own self-gain, which we can only assume in this case is the obvious. Money, 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 and more motherfucking money. All right? But baby, giving very much so scandal. Also, Wendy declared she is not cognitively impaired, nor is she incapacitated. Before we go on, I'll revisit actually some of this. She spoke out on Diddy toward the end of the interview. I'm going to let you guys hear this as well. Hold on. We're going to get to Diddy in a minute. Let me just continue to go through the notes. She also interviewed with Don Lemon. All right. She said basically the same thing on Don Lemon, that she's made good money and that she just wants to live off her own damn money, and she wants to live in Miami with her family. She did say on Don Lemon that Sabrina is living off her goddamn money. So Wendy is clear about the fact that this is about money, 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 money. And apparently Sabrina Morrissey is just a narcissistic, opportunistic bitch who was in the right position in order to create these circumstances around Wendy that ultimately all go back to benefiting Sabrina. So that's interesting there. All right. Now, what I want to say about Wendy being... Now, I'm just going to save all my notes. So let's go to the Diddy thing. I'm just going to let everything play out. Then I'm going to just go into my shit. All right. I'm going to let you guys listen to what Wendy had to say about Miss Diddy girl, because you guys know Wendy and Diddy have a complicated relationship. At one point in time, she had become aware of some information, or she saw some evidence of Diddy being a predatorial toward young women. She apparently even tried to get the police involved, tried to raise the alarm, tried to sound off. This all happened earlier on in her career as a radio jock. But to no avail, anything happened to Diddy despite all her efforts. Wendy apparently did go to the police. You know, she's also whistleblowed throughout her career about Diddy. Ultimately, it resulted in her and Diddy later on in modern day being able to get into a better place. You guys know she interviewed him on the show. He spoke about meeting her son for the first time in the back room. Wendy seemed shook because she did not know what the hell that meant, and if he had went up in her damn son's back room, literally, child, it was a moment of obvious table shaking, baby, when Diddy told her ass that, you know, he had, you know, introduced himself to her son who was backstage, baby. I was fucking screaming. But this is what she had to say about everything going on with Diddy right now. We're also going to be talking about that too.
It's really weird seeing me on TV when I'm caught in this position. You know what I'm saying? The other day I was watching Cookout, and there I am in the first opening scene. I was like, oh my God. Season 1, episode 13, there I am on Martin. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day, and you want to know what? It's about time, people. It is about time. Diddy done.
All right, so let me get in. Okay, so let me just start there. Let me just start with Diddy, child. Wendy and Diddy. And once again, this is going to be a very honest commentary. It's going to be a complicated commentary. I am not per se a fan of Wendy. You know, I like her, but it's not really like a lot of people I'm actually a fan of. I'm not really like a fandom type of individual. I don't really fan or stan people. This allows me to be able to tug on everybody's goddamn wig, and I prefer to keep it that way. So I like Wendy, but I'm not a fan of her. This whole Diddy thing is very odd to me. I don't know how it's possible to be aware that Diddy is a psychopath, a sexually perverse, deviant, an offender and an abuser of women and girls. And Wendy knew this firsthand to the point that she even tried to get the police involved in the information and evidence she had gotten a hold of. And she tried to make all this noise around Diddy that he obviously was able to protect himself from, as all of the lawsuits allege that Diddy has the police or had the police in a chokehold. So I'm not surprised that there was no smoke for Diddy as it relates to police involvement. I don't understand how you get from there, right, to then interviewing him on your show and allowing his clout to be sustained on your national syndicated television show, allowing yourself to even make up with a man like this, allowing him to promote himself through your show. Wendy, unlike the rest of us, was not simply a spectator. She knew who Diddy was. She knew things that Diddy had done. She had actual evidence at one point in time on her persons. She had been exposed to facts. So I don't know what to make of who Wendy is as somebody who apparently knew. The key word here is knew. K-N-E-W. Knew who Diddy was, what he was about, and what he did. And then because she too obviously is just as fame hungry and shallow as he is, ultimately were willing to trade out her own personal humanity and values for a 15-minute segment with a high-profile abuser, simply because he was high-profile. And that interview was not about him being an abuser. So, clock that T and do what you will there with it, all right? But keep that in mind, because we also going to be going somewhere else in this conversation that's going to kind of bring that back into the equation, all right? That she's celebrating him for being finally held accountable for his actions, and then earlier on in her career tried to have him apprehended and arrested and investigated, only to have made up with him and brought him on to her syndicated television show. Pamela says she probably had to act like everything was okay. That's the thing about it, is that she sold her soul. We need to call it for what it is. You have a choice. You have a choice. And you either got to stand on business in life or not stand on business in life. But you don't get to be both, because when you try to be both, you end up as a hypocrite. You end up as a hypocrite. You can't celebrate somebody for being an abuser, but then you also made sure that they continue to be looked at as a celebrity, as a high profile figure, and used your own show to help Diddy to maintain this air of popularity, knowing what he was doing with his popularity, knowing what he was doing with his fame, knowing what he was doing with his money, and your direct and you collaborating with him brings you into, it allows you to directly placate to that. It does give you some liability in the situation. It does make you just as now as much a part of the problem as everybody else who decided that they were going to choose their careers, and they too were going to choose their celebrity, and they too were going to choose the advancements of their careers by acting like there is no elephant in the goddamn room for the sake of TV and for the sake of us all advancing our careers. So Wendy, just like everybody else who closed their mouth in the industry, as far as I'm concerned, are just as much a part of the problem of enablers as Diddy is. Now, once again, keep that in mind, because we're going to go somewhere. We're going to go somewhere. All right? Now, let's get back to Britney. I honestly, first and foremost, I took care of a loved one myself who suffers from the same condition that Wendy and Bruce Willis suffers from, frontotemporal dementia, also known as FTD. My grandfather had advanced dementia that ultimately claimed his life. So, as someone who has had to directly care for someone who has had FTD and had to care for that person for years, I know that those people have like spells and episodes of wellness. They have momentary lucidity. They can seem like themselves. They can seem pretty competent moment to moment, but they do not have a long-term relationship to that stability. They do not have a long-term relationship to that lucidity. They don't have a long-termness to that. So what I am not going to do is to hear 2 30-minute interviews, one on the Breakfast Club and one on Don Lemon, and then assume that this is the 24-hour, 48-hour version of Wendy. Okay? Because even in these interviews, she still needed assistance, which was her niece. She does have allegedly FTD. So her sounding well in 2 30-minute interviews is not enough for me personally to extract any confidence about her condition. Now, we got 2 things going on here. Her condition and then the guardianship, right? Her condition might not be well, but the question is, does she need a guardianship? I stand in solidarity with the family. I stand in solidarity with the public that there has been no justifiable reason as of yet that has been provided to us on behalf of the guardianship, conservatorship, that demonstrates objectively and factually why Wendy should be in the care of a guardianship when she has living relatives who are completely competent and functional and that have an interest in taking care of her. There has been no justifiable presentation of the facts that prove and support that she needs to be in a state or federal assigned guardianship instead of being in the custody of her living relatives. And until they do that, the public should raise every bit of hell. Until they do that, there should be a continual conversation and a hashtagging of Free Wendy and a constant rallying of Wendy to be given over to her relatives where she desires to be, where her relatives desire to be, and where her community supports her being. Now, let's get to, once again, let's go back to the condition. Because when I was thinking about conservatorship, and, you know, the hashtag Free Wendy's, overall, yes, I believe that Wendy should be in the custody of her family. There's no reason for her not to be. But at the same time, I immediately could not help but think about Miss Hit Me Baby One More Time, who was hit with a conservatorship herself and then was goddamn hit with her freedom papers as a result of her hitting the goddamn SUVs and the trucks of the goddamn paparazzi, bald-headed and all outside. And I remember just how eager and aggressive her fans were in getting her ass free. And then once she got free and she got home and she was able to ride dick without the approval of a judge, she started doing shit like this, baby, and thought she was a goddamn Mortal Kombat character known as Melina and or Katana. And then that same aggressive ass, overly invested, concerned fan base that was screaming Free Britney when she was freed out here beating the hell out of people, freed enough to be bald-headed and all, became freed enough, baby, to be doing all type of magic tricks with damn kitchen knives. Them same people then started questioning whether they had, in fact, baby, made the correct and humane decision, baby. All of a sudden, baby, all the conversations went to the left, baby, and them people was like, we should have minded our white business, bitch. We is so sorry. We didn't know. We didn't understand. Now they out of here crying and begging the state, baby, to reinstate a guardianship, baby, because they might have fucked around and found out that she was where the hell she was supposed to damn be. So when we in here having this conversation about Miss Wendy, baby, I am hesitant on how much I want to personally commit, baby, to freeing Wendy, because I don't know what her freedom gonna fully look like, baby. And I ain't gonna have that type of blood on my goddamn hand because I ain't got nothing else to do but to be minding her goddamn business, okay? Baby, I don't know what Wendy freedom is gonna look like, and I'm not sure, based upon us already going through this one time before with America's sweetheart, Miss Britney Spears, baby. What Wendy Williams freedom is gonna look out. I mean, it's gonna look like. Because are we gonna act like we don't remember that Wendy's freedom looks just like this too? Are we gonna sit up here and really commit to a poetic narrative now that things done got real bad, baby, and act like she wasn't dressed like the Statue of Liberty, higher than a damn rain cloud, seizuring all up and in front of 4K ass cameras, baby, in front of a live damn audience, baby? Okay, this is what the Free Wendy Williams gave, baby. Are we not gonna act like in her freedom, there wasn't headlines week after week, month after month of Wendy ass in and out of rehab, in and out of mental health facilities, in and out of this, in and out of that. The Wendy Williams show didn't know if it was the damn Wendy Williams show or the goddamn Arsenio Hall show, baby. There was a new bitch on stage every other damn 15 minutes because Wendy and her freedom just could not get it together. So I weigh out the facts, baby. Here, see, I'm not so fantasy driven here that I am just forgetting about all of the chess pieces on the boards and circumstances. It seems to me she does deserve and is capable of being cared for by her family. We care for our relative suffering from dementia and a plethora of health complications. But we also have already gone through this shit one time before. So I don't know. My question to y'all is, are y'all ready to have that blood on y'all hand, baby? If Wendy was to get free and be given over to her family to be cared for, as a woman who wants full control of her money, because remember, in that documentary, baby, even under a guardianship, Wendy still had access to the liquor. She still had access to the 7-Eleven. She still had access, baby, to the Chevron, to the bodega that was supplying her with that brown liquor that allegedly contributed to her FTD, her frontal temporal dementia. Of course, the family is passionate and emboldened right now because they don't like the limited access. But I'm going to say what nobody else is willing to say. And I'm going to ask what the fuck nobody else is willing to ask, baby. Because once again, baby, see, this is why I be glad I don't fan out. And I can let the pendulum swing from left to right. How do we know that the family's motivation ain't no different than the conservatorship's motivation, which is money? Because even under her conservatorship, Wendy was able to get her way and still have access to liquor, the same liquor that was killing her, the same liquor that was putting her ass in rehab, and had access to God knows what the fuck else was being secretly supplied to her, because she had people who were more invested in being a yes man for the sake of $1 than she did people that actually loved her and could tell her long-legged ass, hell no. Does her family want to have a grip on Wendy because of the access to coin? That's their motivation too. However, will they be enablers for the sake of keeping Wendy happy, under the guise of keeping her happy? And keeping her happy is just a way to keep access to the money. See, I don't know who nobody is in this situation. I don't know who the guardianship is. I don't know who the fuck the family is. There's just two parties arguing for their right of claim. However, Wendy said she wanted to be with her family. But what we also know, based upon that documentary, because we can't act like we don't know it. We already done seen it play out. What we do know about Wendy too is a big part of why Wendy didn't like that guardianship is because Wendy did not like structure. Wendy wanted to do her drugs. Wendy wanted to sip her alcohol. Remember that whole situation? This is why her personal assistant got in trouble. When they went to that restaurant and shit, and Wendy was arguing over having access to liquor, the same liquor, baby, that got her all fucked up, that got her FTD, exacerbated by stress, collaborated with the alcoholism, fucking up her brain, fucking up her biology. Wendy don't like structure. She was flying out, like Britney said, so she could drink. Wendy wants to do what she wants to do, and some of the things she wants to do ain't what's good for her. So I don't really know what her also being in the hands of her family would look like, considering that before she had a guardianship, she had access to her family, and she was still in and out of damn rehabs. She was still in and out of trouble. She was still passing out and falling out and seizuring on goddamn stage. She was still acting a goddamn traumatized fool. So I don't know what's best for Wendy. I personally do not know, and I know that nobody in this chat knows factually what is truly best for Wendy, because we are not privy to the reality of these situations and what the strengths and potential weaknesses are in either situation, whether it's the guardianship having access or whether it's the family having access. What I do know is that with or without her family and with or without a conservatorship, Wendy has been in trouble. She was in trouble before her guardianship, where she had all the access to her family. And she's been in trouble since her ass has been in a guardianship. However, I do think that before a guardianship is administered, that a guardianship should have to absolutely prove without a benefit of a doubt why a guardianship, a state-appointed one, is justified. Especially when a person still has living relatives. Now, Denise did say that the guardianship situation and system in New York is broken. It's broken, baby. It's broken. So it's a system that's not only failing Wendy, it's failing a lot of people because it's either too tight or it's too broad. It's either too tight or too broad. I don't know much about the New York conservatorship system in and of itself, but it's broken like many other systems. The foster care system, etc. Broken. We got 189 likes, 345 viewing. Y'all need to get these likes up. Come on. We ain't got no weirdos over here, baby. CTV working. Last but not least, I gotta consider this. I'm a spiritualist, okay? So this may separate me from a lot of y'all. I'm in the metaphysical, occultic, mystical community. My worldview includes mysticism. It includes spirituality. It includes spiritual laws. It includes all of that, okay? So that may separate me from a lot of y'all, all right? When I look at this Wendy thing, oh yes, it absolutely should be investigated. It should absolutely be forensically investigated. And yeah, spiritually speaking, I'm not surprised that Wendy is experiencing a lot of complications in this kind of like chapter of her life. She lost her marriage. She was humiliated as a result of the infidelity of Kevin for some odd, weird, and it almost seems supernatural in and of itself that her money ended up getting locked up and she ended up being dumped into the conservator guardianship system of New York, which nobody really knows how the fuck that happened. Even when Charlemagne asked Denise how the fuck did this happen, she couldn't really explain how it happened. When you can't really explain how things happen, usually there is also a more cosmic reason for why the unexplainable is happening. And in this case, I fully believe that a lot of the complications and the uncomfortabilities of Wendy's life are the result of karmic debt. I do. This guardianship situation eventually may expire. It may be lifted, but a lot of what Wendy is going through is karmic. It's karmic. Wendy, y'all might love her, but y'all got to think about the reasons why y'all love her. Because she was a messy, low-down, gossiping, no-holds-barred, disloyal, objectifying motherfucker. That's why you loved her. You loved her because she did not care about exploiting other people's secrets. She did not care about lifting and erecting rumors, whether they were founded or unfounded, around people's brand and likeness, hurting them, hurting their families, hurting their dignity, etc. And she made an entire living, a glorious living, a multi-million-dollar living, off of hanging other people out to dry, right, wrong, or indifferent. And now, ironically, Wendy is being left to hang and to be exploited and to be subjected to the opinions and the desires of an authority that has her living in what she calls a glamorized prison. Part of what Wendy is going through is karmic. And it is what it is. Because nobody gets to get away with it, baby. That's why Donald Trump had to get popped upside his motherfucking head. That's why he had to get the side of his motherfucking head glazed, baby. Nobody is going to be able to stomp the yard in this system without getting their ass touched. Nobody. There are zero exceptions. I'm not an exception. You're not an exception. She's not an exception. He's not an exception. They're not an exception. Republicans are not an exception. Democrats are not exceptions. Liberal are not an exception. Celebrities are not an exception. And Wendy Williams is not an exception either. Part of this is karmic, and there's going to be nothing that's going to be done about it until her debt is paid entirely. And it will be only then when it's lifted. It will be only then when she gets to transition from her uncomfortable set of circumstances to a more comfortable set of circumstances. That's why God, aka the universe, aka her ancestors, aka the spiritual laws, have not allowed the efforts of her relatives, her niece, her son, her friends, her supporters. This is why they haven't been given the anointing to free her, because she is being filtered through karmic debt. And when you are in a dark night of the soul period of your life, all you can do, baby, is surrender. Because there is no reverse uno. There is no reverse uno. Once the dark night of the soul has activated and initiated, your stay will remain. Just like a prison sentence, baby. You're going to serve out these next 7 years. You're going to serve out these next 2 years. You're going to serve out these next 10 years. Ask Tory Lanez how it feels to make appeal after appeal after appeal after appeal to no avail. This is how karmic debt works. Everything that we do is filtered through an escrow that's recognized by the spiritual IRS. And just like in the real world IRS, the spiritual IRS is going to get what it's entitled to. Whatever you owe it, it will get. You will surrender what you owe. to the spiritual laws. Now, the dark night of the soul, as bad and fucked up and hardcore as it is, like all spiritual things, ultimately is designed to change you. That's what the spiritual laws want from you, is change. So your bad behavior, your unconscious behavior, your traumatized behavior, the ignorance of your behavior, the egotisticalness of your behavior has to come under subjection, like that of a disciplinary, like that of a responsible parent who's going to discipline you accordingly for that behavior. So Wendy, she got to pay for her blood money. And that's what it is. And I'm not afraid to call it that. That's what it is. It's blood money. Operating without truth, without integrity, operating without character for the sake of a dollar bill and the willingness to disrupt people's lives in the name of rumor milling. Yeah. That's why Total was at her front door, ready to whip her ass. That's why all these things throughout her career have happened. And Wendy, unfortunately, she doubled down on it by saying, hey, you got to make a choice. You can't be friends with these people and want to drag the fuck out of their asses. So Wendy has been, to make it worse, she's been clear about what she's doing. That makes her karma even worse. Because you know what you've done. Yeah. Look at the way she did. Y'all, beloved Whitney Houston, beloved Mariah Carey, Judge Mathis, baby. I mean, Wendy has been clear and asserted that she knows exactly what she's doing and that she's on the side of materiality. And she does not care about how these people feel. She does not care about if these things are in fact true or not. She has chose herself selfishly over and over and over and over and over again. There is a righteous selfishness and then there is a unrighteous selfishness. And Wendy has chosen herself selfishly again and again and again and again and again. And so yes, now she's being left without any autonomy. How about that? She wanted to operate recklessly, so the universe removed all of her rights. Now she don't even get to color in a color book, baby, without conflict. And it's not over for everyone who owes the universe. The karma shows up differently for everybody, but it shows up nonetheless. So I'm not sure if Wendy will get her relief. She may die before change is had in her conservatorship, or she may be able to live through this period and may be able to eventually break her conservatorship, you know, be back into the good graces of her family, and then, you know, have a reasonable, happily ever after. Maybe. I don't know. So, her karma is hers. What Wendy wants y'all to worry about is helping her to get her ass up out of this conservatorship by continuing to cry aloud. So, cry aloud, hashtag free Wendy, support her if that's what you want to do. Wendy is not happy, and she wants to be with her family, and her family wants to be with her. So that's how y'all can do that. It's hashtag Wendy Williams. And what else she said? Oh, let me see if I could bring up the change.org petition. Let me see if I can bring up the Wendy Williams change.org. Let me see what's on the change.org page. I believe this is the conservatorship. I mean, conservatorship, girl. This is the petition that the niece might have been. Let me see here. Petition to reevaluate the conservatorship. Okay, I think this is it right here. She has 468. Okay, let me put this petition in the link. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen as well. Let's see here. We're gonna read this, then get up out of her. Mama say, mama sa, mama kusa. All right, this is the conservatorship. We ain't gonna read all of this, but this is the conservatorship petition to reevaluate the conservatorship of Wendy Williams. 468 verified signatures. The issue is the honorable members of the judicial system and concerned citizens. We, the undersigned, urgently call for a thorough reevaluation and immediate termination of the conservatorship imposed on Wendy Williams. This petition is not only a plea for justice, but a call to action against the ongoing exploitation and systemic injustice faced by Wendy Williams, a prominent Black woman whose well-being has significantly deteriorated under the current conservatorship. It goes on to obviously list who the hell Wendy is and to say that she has been appointed by Sabrina E. Morrissey as her conservator. It has become painfully clear that this arrangement has not served Wendy's best interests. Instead, it has resulted in a severe decline in her physical, mental, financial, and emotional well-being. Well, obviously not, because the reality is Wendy is not on drugs. And what nobody is considering is the fact that Wendy is as cognitive as she is because she is being provided strict regiment and structure due to the conservatorship. Like Wendy said, baby, I can't even get off my damn flow without somebody having to punch in a goddamn code or swipe a damn ID for me to get out the room. Nobody is even putting two and two together that she sounds as cognitive. Yes, I mean, it's not a perfect set of circumstances because once again, every decision that she has to make has to be signed off by someone else. And of course, no adult prefers to be in a situation like that, whether we need it or not, whether we think we need it or not. You know, nobody likes, especially no adult person, you know, likes having to have their choices signed off by anybody. So of course, Wendy, you know, doesn't like the fact that all of her choices go through Sabrina, but it's interesting that she actually sounds great, and she's being given all of this hoopla, all of this, oh, she sounds so great. And remember, y'all have to attribute that to the conservatorship. Like, isn't that about a bitch? That the same conservatorship and guardianship that, you know, she's slamming, that the public is slamming, is also the reason why she was able to do this press run today and sound reasonably well and cohesive. So there you have the fruit of the conservatorship. Now, mind you, when she was alive, I mean, girl, not when she was alive. When she was free, when she had access to her family, this is what it was given. This is an interesting conundrum. This is a very fascinating conundrum. When she was free and without structure and without the strict regiment of a guardianship, she was in and out of rehab, in and out of mental health facilities, seizuring out and passing out on stage, dressed like the Statue of Goddamn Liberty. And all the conservatorship did was sit her black ass down. That's what the conservatorship did. Some of y'all don't like that kind of teaching. The conservatorship made her sit her motherfucking ass down. And since then, she's been able to watch TV and mind her black ass business. And her brain has been able to form cohesive sentences. That is the Wendy y'all got today that y'all so braggadocious about. Oh, she sounds so good. Oh, give her back her TV. Do you realize when you're saying all that, you're talking about the results of her guardianship? that simultaneously, y'all are also saying it's so terrible for her. I feel like what the perfect balance is, because I don't know if I'm that mad at the guardianship. I'm mad at how they went about it, and I'm mad that the family has been counted out. I feel like a perfect middle ground, because I don't know if I trust Wendy or the people that love her in her freedom, because once again, if she was able to get drugs and liquor into her bedroom while under a guardianship, which we saw through the documentary, baby, then I can only imagine what the fuck, people who, I can only imagine what her family would be willing to make the exception for. Especially when you bring money into situations, baby. And I don't know nobody's heart. I don't know nobody's heart in this situation. I hear what everybody's sounding off about, but I don't know what the fuck is in people's hearts. I don't know what the fuck people's ulterior motives are. I don't know if folk got ulterior motives. I don't know. But I feel like since we now can see the difference between a free Wendy without a conservatorship and a conservatorship Wendy Williams, and that really, in fact, she seems well, and seems well because she's got major structure, is just allow her more time with her family. But once again, I too kind of side, I rather she will be in the best of hands with her family, because if the family is money hungry as well, and they just want to be able to get access to Wendy to get hold of her money, they may compromise on the structure that Wendy needs in order to truly be well. When you bring in a woman that's worth millions of dollars and she's willing to spend $75,000 to $100,000 on a motherfucker's birthday, baby, that's a woman you might feel less inclined to say no to if she want a sip of liquor, if she want to go out and drink today. If she wants to use her phone that may be connected to her drug mules, her suppliers. These are all things the family would have to be willing to be just as strict, considering that they're dealing with a woman with FTD and is in recovery for substance abuse. But when you got that woman who may want to pressure you to help her to compromise herself when it comes to her addiction, when it comes to her mental stability, because saying no might come with the clank on the bank account, baby. Baby, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is best for Wendy, but what I do know is that well-spoken, articulate, can crack a joke, is self-aware person that y'all are bragging about as a result of these 2 30-minute interviews with the Breakfast Club and Don Lemon are the result of a conservatorship, and what y'all see on the screen here was the result of what she looked like as a free woman with access to her children, access to her relatives, access to her friends. Just Google the headlines, baby, of pre-guardianship Wendy Williams and how much this woman was struggling to work consistently, how much she was struggling in her day-to-day life, and how much she was in and out of addiction facilities and mental health facilities. This conservatorship, nobody's willing to admit it, has grounded her as a result of them not playing with her motherfucking ass. That's all I got to say. I think this is a great Todd, hit the link, Todd. I want to give you a opportunity to sound off. Hit the link, Todd. I'm gonna drop the link for Todd. Damn, God just laid it down like a perm today. That's why y'all need me. And y'all may not always agree, but this is a commentary, this is just perspective based. You know, and I'm just here to give folk something to consider, things to think about, things to include in their perception of things. Because oftentimes when it comes to the public, you know, we just get very emotionally driven, which can sometimes really take us away from what we're really looking at. We get blinded by our feelings, by our fandom, by all type of things, and we don't realize some things. We don't realize some things. All right, and I'm just here to always drop perspective, and then y'all, you know, do what thou will according to said information. You know, you take the meat, spit out the bones. I'm okay with you thinking that I'm wrong, Sharita. I think you wrong as all hell. So, you know, it is what it is, baby. I really can't be wrong, and you really can't be wrong, because neither one of us are in Wendy Williams' shoes, and neither one of us know what it looks like factually. I think it's mighty arrogant for you to assert that I'm as wrong as you are implying with your all caps on wrong when you don't even know what the hell Wendy Williams' armpit smell like, baby. You have no objectivity about her circumstances, but what I do know is that you stand by the competence exuded from Wendy that you heard today, and you're under the impression that she doesn't need a guardianship based upon her cognitive ability today. And the truth about that is all of that is the result of the structure provided by the guardianship. Now clock that. Clock it, baby. Clock it, baby. Like it, love it, or hate it, baby. It was just clocked. Baby, I don't know why y'all be mad at the facts. Baby, I would never be mad at the facts. Baby, I welcome the facts, but bring the truth, baby. Y'all be too invested in your feelings. I'm invested, baby, in the facts, baby. Fuck your feelings. We catch flights, not feelings. Okay? I got the divine feminine in me, baby, but my divine feminine is mature. She ain't some emotional wreck, baby, with a bunch of emotional narratives, baby, okay? My divine feminine, baby, is a mature femininity in consciousness, baby. We don't base everything on I feel it. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going? Can everybody hear me?
It's going well.
Good Lord.
What's going on?
Man, look, you laying it down like a perm. I was like, damn.
Okay, so what were your thoughts coming in? What were your thoughts after my commentary that made your perm lay the hell down? Walk us through it.
The one thing, I sent you a Cash App, and I wanted you to know that you do spot on comparative case analysis, man, because that's what's needed in situations like this. Before you render any type of decision about anything, you have to have something to compare it to. But once you start comparing it to Britney, I was like,
I'm a slave for you.
Man, look, I had to leave the office. I was like, excuse me, y'all, let me step out. I was like, yo.
So now, with that being the case, what are you left with?
I think you're spot on. There's a few factors here we got to take into account, and one of them is, yes, can Wendy even function by herself? Because at first I was thinking, well, people who are in hospice care, for example, right, are granted in-home hospice care despite their debilitating health, right? But then I thought about it. I said, man, some people, you just can't leave them to their own devices as well. But it also seems very predatory as well.
Yeah.
But when you laid it down, look, How you doing, ma'am? You laid it down like I was laying down on the waterbed. I was like, man, you laid that case. I was like, I damn.
Look, I'm at that state in my life, Todd, where I need to think more so through my reality than feel through it. Like I need to be able to rationally, logically, and take as much of an objective approach more so than an emotional approach. You know, and I know that on YouTube, a lot of commentators rely on emotionality. They rely on a lot of whistleblowing. They rely on a lot of narratives that are birthed out of emotions and feelings and all of this shit. So I'm kind of in a minority right now of commentators where I can still have the emotional approach as well, but I'm also putting heavy priority on looking at this thing objectively, pulling off of the celebrity of Wendy and who I've made her to be as a fan, as a viewer, and looking at the reality of Wendy, looking at her life prior to and her life after the fact. And once again, I'm not sure if either circumstance is perfect per se, whether she's in the hands of her guardianship or her family. I'm sure that there's going to be some L's taken in both scenarios, but I do just find it very interesting that she was a hot, shitty, cokehead mess outside of this conservatorship and in and out of rehab and in and out of substance abuse facilities and passing the fuck out and overdosing on camera. And she had the right to fly to and fro the earth, to be in Miami, had access to her father, her kids, etc., but the whole nine. And now she is chilling in a 4x4 room with one window and a big ass smart TV, and yet she is sober and seems to be healthy minded. Now, once again, it is a guardianship, so I don't expect her to be happy with every aspect of the guardianship. I don't expect any adult to be happy with having their decisions supervised, for God's sakes. So I just feel like, hey, if they can loosen up on that based upon how well she's doing and based upon the healthiness of the relatives who want to be involved in her life, making sure that they are well vetted, that they ain't a bunch of goddamn heathens and criminals, and that they're not into a lot of mischief, and that they are well people. I think that between her well relatives and the overarching supervision of the conservatorship, that she can continue to kind of have a perfect combination of dessert and vegetables.
You know what? You are exactly right. The one thing that you have a awesome way of tying in the metaphysical to all of these things as well. And I have to say this, and then I have to get back into the office. There's a theorist named Kenneth Burke, and he talks about how things are in the negative, and not necessarily by negative number, but these things are quantifiable by things we can't see. For example, doctors can tell you that to take a drink of water, your synaptic nerve fires off an electronic pulse to your hand, and you pick up the cup to get a drink of water, but they can't definitively tell you why you're drinking that water. Right. But that's what Kenneth Burke talks about in communication. He talks about things that are in the negative that can be quantifiable by things that we cannot see through deductive and inductive reasoning. And man, look, if you were in my class when I was at UNC, look, I'd have been picking your brain every day. We'd have been getting A's in that month. Okay.
Oh, period.
All right. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you coming up, man.
No, thank you for inviting me. Hello to the Conscious crew, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Yes. And y'all take care, and please be safe. And thank you once again.
And you too. That was our Todd, you guys. All right, so we got 6 minutes left, and we're going to let Shauna and LaShondra take up that space. All right, Shauna, cool. Sound off.
Okay, so I have a question. Do you think if Wendy was poor, she would be in this exact same situation?
Well, because poor people are not granted conservatorships.
Yeah, exactly. But conservatorships are for what? To protect her money?
Okay. Actually,
I'm asking. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
asking.
I actually pulled up. Oh, wait a minute. Did I had a whole thing up. Hold on. I had to think up here about conservatorship.
Mhm.
Should I put it up on screen or I just read
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Come on.
Okay, let me it's just a part because I don't want us to take all day. Let me just read this little part of this article about what a conservatorship is. Conservatorships by style. Financial, the conservatorship has full authority over the conservatee's finances, while the conservatee still has full physical autonomy. They cannot assess their money, investments, or most forms of property without the conservator's signature. Physical, the conservator has authority over the conservatee's health and life. The conservator can choose where the conservatee lives, how they receive medical care, and whether they need to move to a living facility of some sort, which she has been. In general, the conservator has full authority over the conservatee's finances, physical autonomy, health, and all other significant decisions. It is uncommon for a court to grant a physical conservatorship without granting financial authority as well. So this is more common than a physical conservatorship and limited. The conservator has authority over some specific aspects of the conservatee's life. This is often granted in cases of a mentally disabled adult to allow their guardian to continue caring for them while also allowing the greatest degree of autonomy possible. The conservatorship may focus on the specific needs of the conservatee. Now, here's the thing. What if Sabrina was just one of those overly invested, caring neighbors, like the kind of care that gets on your goddamn nerve, the kind of nosiness that gets on your motherfucking nerve, but it's from a good place. But the bitch be doing too much by looking through your window and being all up in your goddamn business. Considering if Sabrina was someone that caught herself like everybody else adjacent to Wendy, or that is fanning out over Wendy, loved Wendy, came to love Wendy, and saw all of her struggles with her health, saw all of the bouts with her mental health, her drug addiction, might have even got to the point where she feared whether Wendy was going to live. And we also started seeing those kind of headlines too, of Wendy being in some very crazy ass situations where she was being found passed out in her apartment and shit. And I remember covering a story like last year where people within her camp talked about a incident involving her being passed out. She was passed out. They didn't even know she was hardly breathing. They had to call the ambulance. Her apartment was a mess. It was just all this stuff going on. So I'm also not gonna act like it is just weird that somebody jumped into the situation, or that there seemed to have outwardly been a need for intervention in a attempt to save what some people might have come to believe was Wendy's very life. And there was enough going on with her life as a free woman to have brought people to that reasonable conclusion.
But ultimately, she has a choice. She should have the choice as being autonomy. I think autonomy, when you're reading that, is the difference. She doesn't have autonomy. She's in lockdown for what reason? Just like, and this is very similar to Britney Spears.
I want you to hear.
Okay, go ahead. What?
The status of a conservatorship is dependent on the capacity of the individual to make decisions on their own. Conservatorships become a hot news topic as people discuss and debate conservatorship. A conservatorship is a form of legal guardianship for an adult. Under the structure the conservator have legal authority over certain aspects of the conservatee's life. This can range from a limited conservatorship, which addresses only specific matters such as health or finances, to a full conservatorship in which you essentially have the same rights and responsibilities that a parent does over a child. So conservatorships can go both ways, depending on the situation. If whomever are the gatekeepers that initiate and or start the process of a conservatorship consideration for somebody feels like the person is beyond a ability to really understand what's in their best interest and have the capacity to do what's in their best interest, then in some cases, a conservatorship can be administered full blown in order to fully protect the person even from themselves. And
Yeah,
Why does Wendy need
but I
to
don't
be
think that's what
protected
it's
from herself,
for.
though?
That's not what it's for. A conservatorship, that's what it's being used for, but that's not what it's for. And that's conservatorships are a business. They take over people's lives when they have the right. Wendy has a right to blow all her money, and she has a right to be an alcoholic if she wants to. You know, how many people?
Not according to the state, she doesn't.
I know, but why is that? Why is that? Because they're illegal. It's what they're doing is illegal, just like what they did to Britney Spears was illegal. I watched a deep dive, like 7-hour deep dive on Britney Spears, and basically they got her caught up through that period of time when she lost her mind, and you could say that's the same with Wendy, but then they just took advantage of the situation. Britney Spears had I'm just gonna throw it out. Hundreds of millions of dollars, and now to this day she's got like 6 because they paid everybody else. They kept her hostage, and she had the right to be mentally ill, and that's the problem. As long as she's not hurting anybody or hurting herself, meaning
but she was. That was the thing. Like Britney was out of control by the time
which
conservatorship has set in.
She never hurt herself.
She also had 2 babies back to back.
She didn't hurt herself. She's a mom who's out here beating and vandalizing people's vehicles. And
she had a mental health emergency. Yeah, totally. But to be
that's the same as some of my patients that I see every day. They're in the same situation. Nobody puts them in a conservatorship.
Yes, correct.
They have absolute autonomy to live their life as they choose to. Nobody takes them to court and takes away their rights.
Conservatorships are basically a way to protect.
It's exploitation.
Exactly. That's exactly
what it is. People from themselves.
Why do they need to be protected from themselves?
Nobody protected me from myself.
Right.
Okay. I just gave the key word.
I think it's a misogynistic system that takes
rich folk from themselves.
Why?
Of course, the system don't care about a bunch of broke ass niggas who they don't feel tribute to the system itself. So
then that's exploitative. That's an exploitative system.
Is designed in this case for the rich. Wendy is a rich bitch, not like your patients, and not.
But
like
in who's
a rich bitch?
Who benefits from that though?
This system, she's supposed to benefit from it.
Wendy does not benefit from it because you can talk to her. That's not what she wants.
It is a business.
She's happy with her family. She's asking to be with her family, and the conservatorship keeps her from her family.
We know what she's asking for. It was supposed to be to benefit her, but we are.
But does she not have any more humanity? Is she not able to voice the things that she would want in her life?
I'm not going to answer every single question thrown at you because I am going to answer them per question. For one, she's a rich bitch, and that's what conservators are designed for. Secondly, because I done forgot my goddamn point. But secondly, Wendy, what was my? I think my point.
If Wendy is not benefiting from her own money, who is benefiting from Wendy's money?
Thank you for saying that. This is capitalism. At this point, I'm clear about the.
But Wendy is not. Wendy is not the capital.
Hey, hold on.
Wendy cannot be the capital.
I'm literally interested in what I'm saying, causing me to forget. If you're not interested in talking, you can go back to the stream. I don't need you over talking me. If you're going to talk to me, let me talk back to you. I'm very clear, and you all don't have to be, about the fact that we live in a capitalistic system.
But people are not capital.
And because, okay, goodbye, Alashonda. Go argue with Wendy, girl. Call into Sabrina Morrissey's email, baby. Go find that and Google that, and you go and hoop and holler and have that conversation with yourself, okay? Or go talk to your patients. Capitalism. I am very clear about the fact that we live in a capitalistic system. So what that means in all reality, and y'all can get poetic and have selective outrage if y'all want to, that's on y'all. Every system in a capitalistic system makes money first and foremost, including your education system, including your medical system, hospitals, all of these virtuous peoples who are doing humanitarian work like doctors and nurses don't do that work for free. They get paid. And if they didn't get paid, your ass would be dying of your afflictions, because nobody has created or is creating anything that does not benefit the institution itself. So yes, this is a conservatorship. It's designed to protect Wendy from Wendy. However, it is a business like every other business in a capitalistic system, and therefore it's also going to benefit other people like every other institution does in this damn country and in this motherfucking world. So it's not a trump card to say, well, who else? Of course there's other people benefiting. Of course there's a fucking judge that's benefiting. There's an entire criminal justice system benefiting from conservatorships. Of course, it's fucking capitalism. There is no system that is without it. So that's just the reality of capitalism. It doesn't change the fact that the system is still meant to protect a rich bitch from her addiction, a rich bitch from her mental health issues, a rich bitch from the potential exploitation of any leeching, gold digging ass relatives, even though that same system also makes money off of who it is guarding. You know, all of your landlords, baby, are capitalists. You know, all of your car dealers are capitalists. That sweet, lovely woman who teaches your children 1, 2, 3s and ABCs is a capitalist. That professor that helped you to get your degree is a capitalist. The same city that created the public transportation system is a capitalistic one. The federal government that allows your rent to be $6 and to extend EBT to you are capitalists. Capitalists with an agenda, capitalists with an assignment, capitalists that can be argued to be and have purpose, but nonetheless, all systems make money and extract money and require money in order to be a system, regardless of what their mission statement is. Shauna?
Yes.
Input?
I get what you're saying, and I see your angle, but
the question here really is, what is best for? I'm not more so like, it's not the guardianship for me. I understand the guardianship is the issue for a lot of people. For me, it's not so much the guardianship is the issue, more so than the question of what is truly best for Wendy. Because if you're going to ask me if I prefer a bug-eyed, foot in her mouth on TMZ, Wendy, over a free Wendy with all of her rights, and the question is what's best for her, in my humanity, I'm going to choose the system. Where it seems that her brain works better despite the imperfections of these circumstances. Because I'm not negating that there's some imperfections in the circumstances. Of course there are. But they also were the same imperfections there when she was free and had access to her family. So I think it's best that if anything, the guardianship and the family be able to work together, and that this may be a partial conservatorship. One that doesn't seize all of her rights, but I think the fact that she's been doing, I mean, she sounds pretty goddamn good, but I can't see that without attributing it to the damn guardian.
Right, because she has her sobriety. Yeah, I think that it's reversing itself to a certain degree, but I also think I don't think you should be forced to be sober either. It's like going to prison because you did something wrong, or you whatever. You go into prison. You bide your time and you get better, but they keep you in prison to keep you.
I don't want it to be a misrepresentation either. She's not in conservatorship because of her addiction, her alcoholism and addiction is what injured her brain.
Right.
Her brain being injured and developing a irreparable injury that can only be slowed down and cannot be stopped is what then rendered her incapacitated enough to be able to be in a clear thinking mind enough to consistently make jointed and well decisions. And then as a result of her status and her contribution to the system, aka bitch, the state was able to take notice and get involved in this situation for the sake of her being a woman with wealth and means, etc.
Right.
And now she's here, but she's not in a conservatorship to keep her from not being on drugs. She's in a conservatorship because the disease in her brain given to her by her drugs is it placated to her demonstrating an inability to care for herself, and then with her going through a public divorce and then having, it's just, I don't know, it's like all of that.
Okay, so Funky has his brother. He's a conservator for his brother. So it does happen for poor people.
Yes.
So his brother has a mental illness, and he gets the money from the state. It's given to Funky, and he doles it out. But the difference is, I think, is consent. At some point, his brother is agreeing to this situation. I guess it's you get to a point. Okay, you get to a point where someone's out of control. Put them in a conservatorship until we can stabilize them, and then you revisit and say, "Hey, you think it's cool to let them go be themselves? And if it's cool at this point in time, let them go. If it's not, it's not." So it's like Wendy she seems cool, and it's probably because she doesn't have her alcoholic brain. She needs to be released from that conservatorship. Now she goes and blows all her money and ends up on Skid Row being drunk. That's her prerogative.
But you know what's sad about that? The fact that people would rather that be her reality for the sake of freedom is also very concerning.
No, I want Wendy to be good, but it's not my it's not my battle. It's her battle.
No, because y'all gonna be the same people when she's out there losing her mind and her foot is the size of an elephant and she's bug-eyed and her wig is dry blowed and she is on drugs and unstable and inconsistent and incoherent, and all y'all gonna be the same people.
Say that's unfortunate.
Who is doing something? Where is her family?
Yeah.
This is not who. It's like you cannot win.
And we're just talking because you can't legally do anything. She is allowed to be a drunk. She's allowed to blow all her money. As long as she's not hurting someone else.
Well, that's the thing. No, she's hurting herself. Like y'all.
But you're allowed to be an alcoholic. It's not illegal to be an alcoholic.
No, but she's not locked up. She's not in a conservatorship because she's an alcoholic, Shauna. She's in a conservatorship because she has frontal temporal dementia and a plethora of other now health issues that fuck with her ability to take care of herself. She's pooching around in an electric scooter. She needs help. She needs assistance. She needs round-the-care assistance. And conservatorship, because her being in a facility, she definitely gets that on a day-to-day basis. She gets the food she needs. She gets the wash she needs. She gets the care she needs in her body. She gets the medicines she needs for her mental disease. And no, I am not so interested in Wendy's freedom that I don't care about whether she goes back out there and loses her mind and her health, because at the end of the day, the people that love her are going to have to bury her. But
she's isolated.
And that can happen a lot sooner if she is not reasonably cared for. But I'm not also in disagreement with what you and other conscious members are saying too. Like, I believe that there should be a balance. Like, I think that Wendy is doing, she sounds good. She seems to be doing very good. And if her family is healthy, and once again, the state can decide if people are well. If the family that wants, to have a shared custody with her are well themselves, they are the right people in the situation, then let her also be with her family, allow her to be predominantly in the care of her family. And once again, there can be a working relationship between the guardianship and the family. But I don't think in this case, as I said earlier, that the conservatorship has proved that there's a reason why Wendy shouldn't be with her family. I mean, she does have family. It'd be one thing if she didn't have family, but I mean, she has family. She has living relatives in this case, and they seem to be interested in taking care of her. And I hope that they get that balance. I also do like the progress Wendy is made. So I am going to say that I think she still does need to be in some type of a guardianshipy situation. I think that there should be an overhead in this situation. A situation where medically it can be documented that she's getting her meds, that she's going to appointments, that she is being seen specialists, because all these things get to be chronicled and documented, because she's not even living in like her own home. She's in an actual facility. So everything that's being done around the clock for her is being documented, and it's mandated by the nurses and doctors. And I love that for her. I love that for her. I love that there is a system that she's in that is just focused and fixated on her being taken care of. I love that for her. But yes, she still have access to her family. Like,
you know, I hope she's getting therapy. I hope she is, because if they really are concerned about her well-being,
she sounds like it. She sounds.
I don't know. But we don't know. But we don't know.
I mean,
we don't know. We don't know. I hope she is. I hope she is.
Look, she says she got peace. Well, her divorce is fabulous.
I know, but she's not happy there. She doesn't want to be there anymore.
She says she's a sexy bitch.
Yeah.
And all she wants is seemingly more access to her family. I feel like that's a small thing to ask for. I don't know why the conservatorship won't
exactly.
I hope the family makes some progress on that front. I do hope that.
Well, I think they should know. I think that's real. It's how it happened sounds real shady. It sounded shady when it happened. I mean, we can all remember.
I think you were saying that because now I'm curious to know what the paperwork looked like that she signed when she was in and out of all these facilities, because I have a feeling, I got a feeling she put her John Hancock on.
That's a good point.
Yeah, in one of these, in her bouts, with one of these facilities, and in and out these,
and that's how they get you. They get you.
It's a lot of things in that paperwork.
Right.
I'm curious to know what that paperwork looked like.
Yeah. And I understand, yes, of course, conservatorship is a business, but you know, there's always going to be the darker side of any situation.
Of course.
And that's kind of like I said before, I watched a 7-hour deep dive on Britney Spears. And it was real. 13 years this woman was in a conservatorship when she could have been on it for a year or two and then taken off of it and then let her, because she was still performing. You know, they call her incapacitated, yet she was still touring. It's like all these inconsistency. You're saying I need help and I need to be watched over, yet you're making me perform like a monkey, you know? So it's that type of thing that is transparency in that. And exactly how this happened would be really interesting to know, to find out, because if her niece, which I believe her, she said she has no idea how it happened. I didn't listen to the Breakfast Club. I did listen to Don Lemon. She has absolutely no idea, and I believe them. I think they're clueless. Her sister is a lawyer, for God's sake. It's like there's some trickery in there. There was some for them to pull the rug out,
which
from
is why
under her
I'm
family.
curious to know about what Wendy's relationship was to them prior to all this.
Right.
If it was just very surface, but there wasn't like an intimate relationship between her and any of these people, I would be interested in knowing, like, factually, if this would have been a enabling family. Or if Wendy allowed people around her to tell her no, which it does not appear she does. She was in that documentary. She was dragging, baby. If you didn't do what the fuck she wanted you to do,
well, you know,
I mean, she was.
It's also, but it seems like
baby.
Her husband was her handler. She lost her handler, and I think just went buck wild after that. You know what I'm saying? It was like nobody came into that that role, even though I believe she was alcoholic even with her husband, but I think they were able to contain it to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So I think that's why she fell apart so quickly after, you know, the baby and her husband, blah, or ex-husband, blah, yada, yada. I think that's why she didn't have a handler. She didn't have that safety net to be like, for someone to be like, okay, you know, this you're starting to veer a little bit too much to left. But I think her husband also was a bit of an enabler, you know. You know, it seemed like, I guess, because they said, this is rumor, of course, I don't know for sure, that when they cleared out her office, they were finding, you know, bottles of booze everywhere, but who knows? Who,
that's what I'm saying, because you know, a bottle of booze was found even in the documentary in her own.
Yeah, of course we believe it. Yeah. She didn't just all of a sudden become an alcoholic. So I think her, but her whole life was about
to being an alcoholic. She's admitted to being a drug addict, even when they did the Lifetime movie or whatever. Like, you know,
yeah, I remember the drugs, but not so much an alcoholic.
She's
I didn't see the
alcoholism and the drugs.
Yeah.
And she's admitted to both. You know,
what else?
She's admitted to both abuses.
Yeah. I think that's why her fall. Now I think about it, her fall was so quick. Once she divorced or whatever, separated, whatever you want to call it, from her husband, it's because he's her handler.
Traumatizing.
Yeah. And I think her whole life was built on a house of cards. You know, it was, she never had a firm footing. She, you know, insecure, blah, 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 like the rest of us or some of us, whatever. But then she latches onto this dude who is her protection. And that's basically all she's got. You know,
and then he publicly humiliates her.
Yes.
On top of insecurities, on top of pre-existing addictions and unhealthy codependencies.
Right.
Because I really feel like the fracture for Wendy happened when Kevin's infidelities and the new baby and the new hole. I feel like that was the beginning of her, like, just of Tumbelina.
Yeah. Like, oh, wait a minute, I need my self-respect, you know.
And then it just kept, and then it just kept spiraling from there.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling so sorry for Wendy I'm just like, how humiliating it would be. Especially to be like the gossip queen of the world. Now you are being like hung on the cross.
Exactly.
Humiliating way. And this man has a new bitch. And now the new bitch in and of herself is exacerbating your already existing.
Right.
Because he's with a younger bitch. And, you know, there's that whole older woman having to reckon with her, you know, her beauty, her youth. And now her husband of all these years, her protector, the man that put her on, that helped her to build the empire she got, is choosing a younger woman. And in her mind, she's probably saying, he must think she's more prettier than her. And you must love her because she's pregnant and having a child. And then you spending my money on your new bitch.
But you know what's really bizarre? Well, which it may or may not be common, is that Sharina was his girlfriend for decades. It wasn't just like, oh, he, you know, stepped out and produced the baby. That was his girlfriend.
And it might have been the publicness of it that that costed her shame.
Well, that's what she said. She's like, nope. Once, you know, when it happened and everybody knew, she addressed it on her show. She's like, no, once there's a baby, that's it.
That's it. But but what do you think if you have allowed your man to be with a woman for decades? You think that there's not going to be that one drunken night? You think that there's not going to be that one horny ass night where he shoots the club up? I mean,
well, apparently Sharina had several of those, you know, Kevin babies. Yeah, she had several. And I guess when she decided she wasn't going to have another one is when it became a problem. So that's,
and then you have to ask yourself, like, we got too many high valued ass women. Why are y'all settling for this? I don't like. Ain't y'all?
She had no self-esteem. None. She had none. No self-worth. No self-worth. Because her mother, I watched a little bit of her documentary. Her mother, and that was the time, and nobody's faulting her parents or, you know, fat shamed her, and then, you know, everybody fat shaming her, so she's useless. And then you have this punk, come and take advantage of it. And she kind of latches onto him, and and then he stays until she's the one, because if she decided to keep that stay married, he would have stayed married. There's no doubt on that.
Told every other bitch who was being
right
cheated on in public to
right. right.
And here it was, she was a sister wife for 15 years.
Yes.
Make damn sense.
Exactly. So I guess when there's I don't see how you what's the difference of a baby? You know what I'm saying? If you could carry on this relationship for 15 years, because
fuck the baby. It's like
you
love her. Like, you're in a relationship.
You love her, right?
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Like, she's not like one hoe amongst a quadrant of women that you allow your man to step out on.
Right.
He's able to develop an entire emotional relationship to this woman.
Yeah.
The baby is not the problem.
No. And I think she thought she could deal with it.
To have a tenderoni that he could love and put his love into as well is where you fucked up at, Wendy.
Well, I think it's so weird that she allowed. It wasn't about him. She was so insecure that she would let this dude have a whole nother relationship, and she was going to continue on with it because for the sake of having that security. It was cool.
But you know what? I'm talking shit, but that actually makes a lot of sense too, because I forgot Wendy is an addict. She has an addictive personality type, using Kevin as a drug, like she was using cocaine and alcohol and pill popping as a coping mechanism. So Kevin was some type of her security blanket. And because she has an addictive personality type, of course, like, she would struggle to say no. She would struggle to pull away from something that she has learned to be codependent upon mentally or emotionally.
Yeah. And not to mention they've been through, she had several heaven babies too. So, when they finally, have this one child that she really wanted, like, there's even more of a reason to kind of make this guy a permanent fixture. I was watching some old, Wendy's such a beautiful woman. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Just, it's shocking that she hid it for so long. The fact that what type of scumball he was,
Some part of the dumbass public have been calling her relatives are calling Kevin a liar. Had he come out here and said she suffered with drug and alcohol and substance abuse privately, etc., just like allegedly Stephen Twitch. Like, this is another example of how great, to your point, masking is, and how many people can mask so well. Now, imagine if we didn't know she had all this going on and she had died with only her closest circle knowing what her true tea was. Like, would people have been open to receiving this information about her?
Nah, they're like, what? Nah. I mean, everybody knew about her because she admitted to her drug issue, but other than that, I mean,
she had not admitted to that. Had she not admitted to drugs, to alcohol, and only her closest circle had knew about the reality of her situation, and then somebody would have popped out with this information, like, we would have not believed it. But this is a prime example of what's going on a lot of times behind the scenes. That's why this is the type of shit why I wasn't shocked about the Stephen Twitch. I'm just like, like, okay, like, I mean, in Hollywood are snorting something, smoking something, depending on something. It's a heavy life. It's very demanding, and it's very taxing on your self-esteem, because your celebrity, it fluctuates. You're like, sometimes you have a good season and you have a good run, and then you don't, and then you do, and then you don't. And so there's all of that, like, there's all that pressure and injury to your self-esteem as a result of a career that you can't really fully control the flow of. Like, you just have to really hope that your ass gonna make the long run in entertainment, but it's not a guarantee. And so these are very stressful circumstances. And then it's, between all of the pressure and all of the demands and all of the up and downs and in and outs, and then, all of the concerns around who you really can fucking trust and who's really here for the right reasons, and all these things contribute to buffoonery. But Wendy, I love the way she sounds, and because of that,
yeah, she sounds like better from that documentary. She sounds like herself. She sounds fantastic.
This was Wendy in the documentary.
What's that? What'd you say?
This is Wendy on the screen in the documentary.
I know, bless her heart. I mean, who knows? She could still look like that though. But she sounds better.
I'm sure her wig is probably just a little bit more laid.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure that, and she did say she still wears the lipstick.
It's not right.
Yes. She still wears the lipstick. But the Wendy in that doc was out of control.
That was a good old rock bottom.
I want to do my show, and I want to go to the Grammys and to the Oscars and wear this same outfit. The bitch was
oh my God, it's all coming back.
Daisy
that was sad.
And fishnets she wanted to wear on the red carpet.
And
y'all
yelling at people.
Her live her best life. No, ma'am. Do not let Wendy Williams go out like this. No, ma'am. No wonder Sabrina had a problem. She probably was like, oh,
but that's another thing. That Sabrina has no personal investment for Wendy to succeed. She doesn't want Wendy to get better. She wants her to stay secluded, isolated. Like, I would really like to know, what is the plan? Is the plan to let her be like this, or to eventually let her be with her family? Honestly, and maybe
I think without the family intervention, I think Sabrina's plan is to just ensure Wendy is in treatment and is alive. I don't think she cares enough about the rest of that shit. I don't think she cares about her having a career. I don't think she cares about her having a family. I think her agenda is to ensure her safety.
No, her agenda is to keep her money. Money, sucking Wendy. That lady's shady. Yeah. She's shady.
Outside of the money, but aside from the money, I mean, because the reality is the family gonna have the money. Right. And then, like, what? Like, does that mean that their efforts are insincere? Because once again, money won't be involved no matter what.
Well, no, and money should be involved. Conservators should be paid, but just the whole business of it, like, what is the plan? Was going back to Britney, was never to Britney to be free, never to try to encourage her to be on her own and giving her autonomy. That was never the plan.
And now look at her, free.
I know, and that's okay. that is okay.
It's not okay.
Yes, it is.
For a lot of people, it's not. I mean, okay. I mean, obviously,
people live like her all the time with no money. So it's like, just because she has money doesn't mean she.
Since Britney done been free, she done been fucking divorced. She hasn't been able to sustain her marriage. She done been cut up by these damn knives.
No, but she lives in a house
in the back
and
of her
she's safe. She lives in a house. She's not on the street.
No, she bought in the back of her head. Her kitchen almost caught goddamn fire. Britney is in trouble.
Yeah. I don't think it was her.
Let her be free. Let her be free.
No,
if she want to be a crackhead, let her be a crackhead.
Ideally,
if she want to die in her house on fire, let her. You should have the right to die in her house on fire.
Right. No, we're not. No, we're definitely not saying that. I think it was what's that saying?
Ain't that damn liberal?
Jumping out the pot into the frying pan. I think the rush, or not rush, the concern to get her out of that situation where people were stealing from her for 13 years, kind of. Well, her lawyer, and I watched it, when her lawyer came out and said she is free, his word was that there were going to be protections in place. I think somebody failed her again. She does need to be protected. I'm not saying people don't need to be protected, but in the end, as long as they're not burning their house down or, stabbing the neighbor or whatever, that they're allowed to live within their mental illness or alcoholism or whatever. I wish, I would love to be saved from, granted, I'm not dealing with those, but it's like, you can't save everybody.
That the people of New York would strongly disagree with you, considering how much mental illness they have to navigate in their day-to-day life of people who have no guardianship, who are just setting people on fire on the train,
right,
who are just acting a fool in public, who are just, being scary.
But there's an incentive to put guardianship on people who have money. But those people who don't have money, who cares? Like, that's a problem.
But you just said, but you just said conservatorships are not just for the rich, and
right? They're not.
And you brought in Funky Dineva as
right.
Example. So then apparently it's not just for the rich. It's for
right. Yeah, but only if you're invested. That's what I'm saying. In the person who like Funky, that's his family. He's invested in it. Sabrina Morrissey is not invested in Wendy. She's invested in Wendy's bank account. That is proven.
I'm not really. I mean, if she was an accountant, I mean, like, this kind of is her expertise. So that's going to be her area is protecting Wendy's coin and well.
I guess so.
But remember, I mean, allegedly her son was swiping shit, and apparently, remember when news had broke that Wendy was mad at her son because her son was taking money out of her account to give to Kevin.
I never heard that part.
Yeah, I had reported on that too. That apparently it was like contention because he was taking money, giving it to his dad.
I hadn't heard that.
And then there are these large quantities of coin coming out of her account at the son's hands. And this is the thing. I wonder, like, what were the conversations between Wendy and Sabrina? Because to me, it's giving Sabrina. It's given that Wendy might have confided in her at times and even made some comments and kind of told her, like, girl, keep an eye out, bitch. Keep an eye out on my shit, bitch. Because you already know. These niggas on me. These niggas on me, baby. Like, keep an eye out, bitch. Okay? And maybe Sabrina took it too far. But she kept both hands on it, baby.
Yeah.
When she started seeing shit,
yeah.
Wendy started not being well, she was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got her ass up out of there, and now it done went to the extreme. But I would be curious to hear from. I think Sabrina does owe it to Wendy's family. An explanation and a conversation and a middle ground. Which, like, this woman still has relatives. Like, she's not in the world about her damn self. She's not some family-less woman. Like, it's like what's the problem? What's the issue?
Yeah.
Like, let's fucking talk about it. I mean, we now have to talk to you because you are legally an authority. But if Sabrina, as you all said, caring for Wendy is not just about protecting her coin and protecting her body, it's also being constantly aware of what's in her best interest emotionally and mentally.
Exactly. And I think that's the point. That's what's a bit lacking, because it's like, what's the point of poor Wendy of being able to call out, but people can't call her? Like, why? How? What kind of damage can her family cause her over the phone if Sabrina has complete 100% control of all of Wendy's movements? Why can't they call her? Why can she only call out, but nobody can call in? That's weird. That's real weird.
I wonder if that was to keep some of these employees that end up getting fired who was exploiting her away from her, and to keep any potential drug mules
but they don't have to see her
to speak and call.
Yeah, but they don't have to see her because she's in an undisclosed place. But why can't they call her? And if they only have 3 people can have her phone number, then 3 people can have her phone number. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's weird that they can't call her. That's bizarre. And why can't they come visit her? Why can't they set up a visitation? They can't even do that. Like, it's a bit weird and isolating. I can understand protecting Wendy, but they don't know where she is. Remember that period of time they know where she is, and I don't even know if they know where she is now.
Cried about the fact that she's afraid of that. She's afraid that her phone at some point will be permanently.
Yeah, and that's scary. Yeah, that's not imaginary. And how about she doesn't know she's going to be able to see her dad? That's weird. Like, there's something very predatory about what's going on, and I understand.
It's too strict. It's too strict.
Exactly. For what reason?
Too many restrictions.
Exactly. For what reason? Wendy has this is 3 years now. She should be getting some freedoms.
Only be able to do that with good calls.
Right.
Very good concrete cause.
And they should know what they are, the reasons. I mean, if she has no idea, tell a family member these are the reasons.
On. So according to what the niece said about that in New York, the guardianship program is just flawed in general. I wonder, because it seems like there's going to be need to be massive reform with the system in order for Wendy's situation to be corrected, because Wendy's situation is able to be orchestrated the way that it is because of what the system allows for whatever reason. So
you're right.
It's going to have to be a lot of change. And what her family and the fans should do is they need to put the pressure on other celebrities to get involved. That black cock loving Kim Kardashian who loves to set black women and men free, spam her motherfucking chat and tell her to get her black attorneys, who they the ones who be doing the real work. She take the credit for it. Get them on the Wendy case. All of Wendy's but Wendy really ain't got friends, and she said she ain't friends with none of these celebrity hoes. But maybe that's why they ain't been no outcry from her community, from her celebrity community, because she didn't really build relationships. But this would be the opportunity for celebrities to get involved with their resources. They have access to very powerful people. They have access in relationships to judges, to attorneys, etc., to family courts, etc.
Well, hopefully Charlemagne, his stank ass, needs to be redeeming some of his qualities and helping Wendy get out of this mess.
So he could take up beyond just giving her a microphone.
Exactly.
But your attorneys, nigga, you rich and you wealthy.
Right.
Envy are between the both of y'all alone, y'all could help to get some shit.
Well, fuck Envy. Charlemagne has a history with Envy's. He's trash. But Charlemagne has a history.
The question then becomes, though, Charlemagne has watched this whole time. Why has he done nothing this whole time?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what he has or hasn't done, but why has it? Maybe
as braggadocious as he is,
right. No, I agree. I agree.
And with this God-given opportunity for an interview, I'm going to assume his arrogant ass would have laid out exactly what he'd been trying to do.
Maybe he had never had an opportunity to talk to her.
Because this would have been an opportunity to really sound off. He ain't did shit. That's the reality of it. He ain't did nothing.
Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe it.
Like the rest of us.
Right. I believe that. And well, I hope after talking to her that
do something now, given the circumstances and given the insight, and now hearing what's happening. This is the time for all the celebrities who claim to love and support her to action. Because see, they have the power to pressure the situation just because of their position in and of themselves.
Exactly.
They really expedite all this versus the fans and just the people getting involved. These celebrities need to galvanize like Voltron.
True, but the fans really, proved with Britney Spears, her fans freed her, not celebrities.
How long it took, and all of
it
that
did take a long time.
And all of that could have been exacerbated had you imagine NSYNC all got involved, Blackstreet all got involved.
Exactly.
Celebrities would have tore up the court, tore up the social media space, tore it up.
Yeah.
This probably could have happened long before it did.
Right.
So it's just can we learn from stuff we've already been through? Celebrities, because we already been through this with Britney. So we know, so it's a lot of information we can extract from all of that, Get on it now.
Exactly.
And definitely need to get on it now.
Yeah. He's such a punk.
Under pressure, get the people involved, or else Wendy is just going to have a by Sabrina until that bitch dies. Listen, y'all want to get all of the witches together and put a death curse on that bitch.
I'm into that.
Put a death curse on Sabrina ass.
Yes.
Shrivel her ass up. Put her ass in the electric.
Right. But the only thing is somebody else will take her place. So it's endless because it's always a group. They're all in cahoots. To be able to do something like that. What's that?
What do you foresee happening in the end here? Do you think Wendy is going to get to her family, or you think the conservatorship is going to prevail?
Well, I hope it doesn't. I mean, I think there needs to be learning from Britney. There needs to be some parameters. I don't know what they are, but or even how much money Wendy has. I think it should be her choice. It should be highly recommended that she has some sort of guardian to protect her assets if she wants them protected. It's now that she's of a sounder mind, it needs to be written in stone, her wishes, what she wants done. And then I think she needs to be freed from whatever the fuck is going on with Sabrina, because there's the way this, and it needs to be exposed how she was grabbed up in that conservatorship. Because I was watching something, I don't know, I can't remember, it was a while ago, and how conservatorships are big business. We're not talking about, yes, people need to be paid. We're not, I'm not overseeing your assets for free.
And people exploit those systems because, like you said,
right.
It's a dark side to every system.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't think they're bad, but I think they're scooping people up. I think it was a perfect storm for Wendy. Her falling apart, and that's what they did to Britney. Perfect storm. Her life.
What did she sign?
Yeah.
What did she sign? Because how was Sabrina able to get in this thing to this degree and get this thing all the way before a judge and get a judge to sign off on her? What did Wendy sign?
Well, I believe there could be something to that effect, and the fact that Kelvin, he'd sell her out too, but also the Wells Fargo, they got their hand in it, some bullshit too. So I think it was just a perfect.
Sabrina had worked for Wells Fargo.
Yeah, and something about that Linda lady, or
Linda making a financial contribution.
There was something weird about that to her attorney. Like
she made a financial contribution to the judge over the case.
Right. But she had something to do with because I remember specifically she had something to do with that Wells Fargo thing, trapping her money up and using any kind of excuse. It was so shady. It's like it's because it was so shady how everybody was acting, and her son, $100,000 on Uber. I don't know. Uber Eats. Do you remember that? They exposed her $100,000 Uber Eats. I hope that was over. I think it was over a course of a year. But that's how.
Oh, apparently that was not over a couple. Let me pull that up. Actually, I remember that shit. What's the name of the son? Kevin Hunter.
Junior. Why is he a junior? Kelvin is her husband's name.
This shit was nuts. February 26th, 2024. What is this? The Black Enterprise. Wendy Williams documentary reveals that Kevin Jr.'s $100,000 Uber Eats bill. Social media responds. The Where is Wendy Williams documentary premiered Sunday or Saturday and pulled back the curtain on the former daytime talk show host personal life and financial woes. Among the shocking details unveiled in the 4-part documentary included the $100,000 Uber Eats bill racked up by Williams' son, Kevin Hunter Jr. In the doc, Kevin Jr., 21, explained the lavish lifestyle his mother enjoyed, which resulted in Wells Fargo accusing the family of financial wrongdoing. Quote, when my mom was living down here, as one can imagine, it's not a cheap lifestyle, Kevin Jr. told producers, as reported by Radar Online. Quote, the court tried to frame it as though I was making all these charges for my own happiness. My mom has never been a cheap person, so whether to be flying her back and forth on private planes or even paying for appointments, he continued, it was all under one American Express. However, Wendy Williams' nephew, Travis Fanny, described the types of charges Kevin Jr. and his mom made on the Amex card that Wells Fargo called into question. Quote, I think the amount of money they questioned Kevin about for spending was like $100,000, Fanny said in a clip shared online. Another clip shows producers asking Kevin Jr. if he'd ever taken money from his mom's account, to which he replied, not without her consent. Quote, to put it into perspective, Kevin's birthday party that his mom threw was $120,000. Kevin's rent was $80,000. Kevin's Uber Eats probably exceeded $100,000 that his mom approves. The shocking reveal received mixed responses on social media, with some judging Kevin Jr. for the charges and others wondering how Wells Fargo would use that as an excuse to seize control of Williams' assets. Quote, notice he had a Freudian slip. One user wrote about Kevin Jr. His answer tells me manipulation is his way of getting what he wants at someone else. Quote, he knows how she feels about him and will do whatever to make sure he good. She stated before, he capitalizes off her mental illness and uses her funds to enjoy life, etc. But to your point, Shauna, I have to agree that, I mean, these are more so like moral issues. Like, I mean, Wendy is a rich bitch. She is allowed to spend rich. If she wants to spend her money like Cher is on her sugar baby, then spend, baby, you can draw up your goddamn bank account if you want to. If you overspend on your child and it's out of trying to overcompensate or whatever, like, that is your right to do, regardless of how much it may be a detriment to you financially. And that's what I mean by, like, Sabrina reminds me of one of those over invested neighbors, like, who's all up in your business and might be from the right place, but like it's out of control because ultimately it may not, it's argued not to be her place, and she might have used her power, her privilege, her access to whatever she had access to, in order to impose what she thought was best.
Right.
And that arguably is a whole problem.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some Wells Fargo's hand in this real shady, because if her son said he was authorized on her account. I mean, it's like Wendy's had money for quite some time. They knew who he was, who her son was. It wasn't just some dude who's like, oh, you know, I'm her long lost brother and I'd like to withdraw some money from Wells Fargo. They knew who he was. You know, he was an authorized user on that card. And I think somebody saw the opportunity, whoever that was, to see what kind of shape she was in, and then kind of orchestrate this whole thing to stop her funds, because they didn't even give her money for her rent. Like, you weren't worried about Wendy's best interest. She's like, I have no money. I can't pay my bills. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
So this is interesting. Her story says that Wendy is forgetting she's considered an elder, and the way her son did her can be considered elder abuse. The family did nothing till it got worse.
I don't know about that. I mean, what's elder abuse? I don't. But I mean, she adored that kid. So if he had free reign, if he was like, "Can I have $100,000?" She's like, "Oh, okay." Like, I don't understand the abuse part of it.
Yeah, because like, how do they determine this abuse? I mean, is it like relative to her account? Like, is
his apartment was $80,000. I mean, come on.
Huh?
I said his apartment wasn't it like $80,000 a month?
$80,000 a month. Uber Eats
like
1,000.
Like, come on.
His birthday was 120,000.
Like, yeah. Like,
so that's what 300.
He had long money.
But I wonder if we are assuming that, because it's like, why would Wells Fargo think that $300,000 plus?
That's what I'm saying.
Like a red flag in her account.
Exactly.
Unless she ain't had the type of money we saying she had in her account.
Oh, she does. I think you could look up her net worth.
No, a net worth is not.
I know it's not. It's right. But yeah. But I mean, but it still gives you an idea.
Celebrities have already said that the networks, they can have far under that or far over that.
Right. I know net worth, it can be, not liquid assets. But I mean, the fact that, prime example, Kevin was in an $80,000 a month apartment in Miami. I mean, come on. That she got long money. whatever fuck her net worth, if we don't know what it is, the fact that she signed up for her son to pay 80 grand a month tells you how much money she had.
Baby, he would have been on welfare had it been me.
No, you know what? And I can understand it. She's successful. She's happy. And that's her miracle baby. You know, if she clearly,
I don't have any discrepancy.
Clearly have a lot of money. I mean, say that's okay. I don't know how long he was living in there. I think at least a year before the shit hit the fan.
Travis said he thinks it was 80 per year.
It could have been 80. I don't know. Is there? Can you see that somewhere? I don't know. 80 a year. It was something ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
It just says 80,000, but it doesn't clarify if it was per month or per year. So I guess it can go either way. But
either way. That's still for an apartment. 80 grand an apartment in Miami. I mean,
the transaction may have been flat. Her account, if it goes to the fraud department, they may look at him taking anything from. But once he cleared it up, then it should have been cleared up. Like once he came, and I mean, they obviously was able to get her consent and her to sign off on, you know, like
they kept her money from her for a long time.
I signed off on him.
Yeah, let's talk to Wendy. Did he do this? Is this cool? Oh yeah, it's cool. So where's the problem? But they kept her money from her for a very long time, which I think they were trying to get that conservatorship all wrapped up before they released her money to her. So they didn't have to. I think it was all a diabolical plan. That's what I do.
Her story says, let me spend 80K of your money and see how your bank reacts. Probably ain't gonna throw Shauna ass in a conservatorship for it.
Right. But this is they had her money in that bank. They know how much she had. 80 grand was a drop in a bucket. You know, I'm sure Wendy's spent money. I mean, even now she's talking about going to Sephora, and this woman likes to shop.
Yeah, and as my son says, my mama ain't no cheap bitch.
Right. Exactly.
Very rich.
And you
bitch.
can tell she's not. You can tell she's not.
She said in her interview, baby, who doesn't like a Coach bag or a Hermes bag or something? She said in the interview, like, who doesn't like a baby? Still rich bitch, honey.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, baby, I got a lot of money. I got a lot of good money, and I don't want to live off of it.
Yeah, that's right. She just, I sure hope. And she probably has no idea how much money she has. They're going by the time they release her, she ain't gonna have nothing.
This is why the family is going to need it. Would have to land. Their cries would have to land on the right person, because, like Denise said, the New York guardianship system is completely fucked. So it would have to be somebody who is like, they need to get this heard by the right person who can get involved with the right person and do the necessary thing, because there's a systemic issue in this thing as well. And they probably won't be able to really move in on Wendy until they address some of those things. So they need to start fighting now, because Wendy ain't getting no younger, baby.
Right.
Well, I think reforms and laws and revisions need to be made. Like, they would have to start now.
Right. I think there's nothing wrong with somebody protecting your money, especially if they're protecting your interests. But I think the person who the money belongs to needs to have a say in it. You know, the period, point blank. She needs to be able to say.
Yeah, I think the issue is that, like, they have deemed her as incapacitated.
Right.
She don't know what's best for her. Like, they have decided she don't have the ability to decide what is best for her.
Yeah. And the problem is it needs to be reevaluated, and that's, again, going back to Britney Spears. So they kept they had maybe a mandatory reevaluation, but everybody was all sleeping in the same bed. They're like, oh, still incompetent. It's like, well, we need some outside folks to determine that. A third party who has no interest in the money who can't have any interest in the money to keep deeming her incompetent. Because even though she can have a debilitating disease, she could, I think the alcohol, the fact that she's on alcohol, could lessen the degree of her dementia to the point where she is lucid and she more days than not, and she can function. If you want to give her a guardian, give her a guardian because you think other people are taking advantage of her, not because you think she's going to blow all her money. And it's
Right.
if you want to protect her, but protecting doesn't mean isolating her. She clearly wants to be with her family. Her fucking dad is 94 years old and she doesn't know if she'll be able to see him. That there's something real wrong with that picture.
Yeah.
There is something real wrong.
Yeah. I don't understand how a judge is not reinforcing some type of like evaluation and like
because the judge is in bed with everybody too. That's the problem.
I forgot.
Everybody's in bed with each other.
The lawyer paid the judge.
Yeah.
So you have it. You have corruption.
Yeah.
There's corruption in this, and
right.
As are you saying, conservatorship is a really big business, and this is just a shame. Like Wendy, and see, this is why we got to do right in life, y'all. Cause baby, we don't live in a type of system that we can rely on doing us right by.
Yeah.
We can't afford that. We can't afford some of the bullshit that we be affording ourselves. We can't afford it. The system is too broken. Racism is too alive and well. Greed is too alive and well. It's too many people to have to duck and dive and to keep your eye on.
Right.
We can't afford this. And I am going to hold Wendy accountable for not using all of that $50 million to get her ass off drugs sooner.
Yeah.
In her life.
Yeah. She's definitely accountable.
And without addressing her mental health. It is so triggering to me to see celebrities live alongside their addictions and live alongside their problems when I know everyday poor people that put more of a fight to revise their lives and to reclaim their lives than people with all these means and with all this access. It's really disgusting how these people literally are sitting right in the middle ground of all this access and don't use it, and they ain't got the nerve to be in everybody's business to make it worse. Like Wendy. Like, girl.
Yeah, help yourself. Before, yeah.
Girl, you wasn't gonna sleep in front of your own door? You really wasn't gonna do that, Wendy? And now you out here in a scooter?
Well, I think her degree of messiness to the point where I was watching Don Lemon. He was talking about back in the day, Wendy outed Don Lemon before he even outed himself, and he forgave her, and then they made amends with each other. But it's like shit like that. When there's a difference between gossiping and being mean-spirited, and that mean-spirited is going to circle back around and tag you in the ass, be like, excuse me, that it's we can all gossip and have a kiki and all that kind of stuff. But when it becomes mean-spirited, it
was nasty work.
Yeah. And that tells you how dark your soul is,
And she did not care.
No.
She was very clear about the fact that I'm going to make money off of you people's likeness by any means necessary, whether it be the truth sometime, whether it be conspiracy, and had no conscience about the impact of anything she did.
Right.
Which is why everybody wanted to whip her ass.
Right. And you know what? I didn't know Wendy till she started her show. Mm-hmm. And she relaxed on that. She became a little bit.
She had to for commercial reason.
Right. But then she started to slip back into the ugliness.
That was everybody's concern. Is like, is TV going to dull her down? Because in radio, she was able to go balls to the wall, from the wall. But it's TV, it's daytime TV. They have sponsors and lawsuits and all type of shit. She couldn't be conspiratorial. She had to be more opinionated on TV than she had to, in terms of everything else she was doing on radio. So she definitely had to
soften it up. Right.
But by then, she had already spent too much time in the field sewing. because she had to sow that to get to the TV.
Right.
She said TV was her
Right.
ultimate goal. Like I always wanted to do TV. I always wanted
Right.
my own TV show. So she sold her soul to get to that, and now the roosters have come back to crow.
Right.
And to collect, because once again, you pay for your bullshit in this life.
Well, here, I got a question for you. So do you think how do you think she could have rectified this situation?
Repent!
And still becomes successful.
Repent! The only thing Wendy forgot to do was motherfucking repent.
And how would she do that?
By confessing and willing to, by confessing to the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter, her God bottom rotten truth about herself, and acknowledge what she has done to the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter, to their children. And then, since she's a public figure, to make take public accountability.
Yeah.
And then use the blessing the universe was giving her to pivot from radio to TV as an opportunity to now do it differently. As a result of new reformed consciousness. And she could have stayed in gossip. She could have stayed in gossip.
Yeah.
She could have stayed in it.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, but she could have did it differently. But Wendy had no plan of doing a goddamn thing differently.
Yeah.
Going for the top, just like Diddy. She was going to the top, and it was all about her, and there was not a moment of awakening or lucidity, and then kaboom. And then kaboom. Kaboom. But that's what the fuck she forgot. And she still would have had to pay it, but the repentance and the doing it differently would have greatly mitigated how the spiritual IRS would have came for her neck. It would have greatly mitigated it. And that's how you mitigate with your karma. You got to do it differently, or else you're going to get
same result.
You are going to get the full ass kicking, baby.
Right. You're
going to get the full brass knuckles ass whooping of it all. That's why the scriptures say, by the sword. By the sword, you shall die by the sword.
Right.
And so, she had to pay it back full. And this is what that looks like. A frizzy wig.
Yeah.
Eyeballs bulging outside of her.
Right.
Stuck on the 27th floor of an old folks home.
So I have another question for you. So I was listening when you were talking about Sean Diddy Combs. Do you think her purpose, because obviously we don't know, her purpose in bringing him on was purely self-serving?
It absolutely was, because I spoke about that.
But why would she need to do that? She was fine in her career. Why would she need?
She wasn't. You got to think about it, Shauna. These are celebrities.
Right.
They need to be hot and trend along with culture. So if a child abuser celebrity is trending in the culture for his pop culture contribution, then you don't choose your morals and your principles over the algorithm and over the viral potential. You are, if you are in your ego, and your job is the career as this is, you got to choose the moment. You don't choose your ethics.
Do you know when she brought him in? Had the interview with him?
I can look it up. Let me see.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to know at what stage, which I think it was the last, because I'm thinking about the background. It was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Now, the upload on YouTube is from 7 years ago, but I'm not sure if that is indicative of when the show happened, if it happened way before or if it was just uploaded 7 years ago. But
Well, 7 years is 7 years, so 4, blah, 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 so 3 years. Yeah, I mean, okay. Okay. You know what? That if I got a chance to ask a Wendy one question, that would be it. I'd like to know because she was sounding the alarm
All these
the whole time, or which I didn't know about that till later. I wasn't actively listening to Wendy. I didn't know anything about her until the show. But that would be interesting to ask her why she did you watch the? Oh, never mind. I know the answer to that question.
what?
Did you watch the Charlemagne, the entire Charlemagne interview with her, or listen to it? What's that?
The one from today?
Yeah,
the 37-minute one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was gonna ask, did he ask her about it? But I'm like, he wouldn't ask.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he wouldn't ask her that. I answered my own question. I'm like, he wouldn't ask
it's
that.
almost as if like everybody forgot that she sat down with this man.
Yeah.
And her son had proximity to this man. And
yeah.
No,
but Charlemagne, but you remember Charlemagne, they're tap dancing around because Diddy's been there. They offered no opposition. It was like when Diddy's home was raided, they're like, are they doing it for cameras or like they wouldn't say, they haven't said like not one bad word about Puff Daddy at all. So I was answering my own question. They wouldn't have brought that up because they are one of those people who are like, well, we don't have proof that, like, they're always on the wrong side of rights, the Breakfast Club, always. So I know they wouldn't have asked that question at all.
I was shook when Wendy Williams interviewed Diddy when she knew what the tea was way before we did. And she had the tea before.
Right.
Like I'm talking about, she had the tea to the point that she ran to the police with the tea. Like,
well, I didn't know that part.
So exactly how the fuck you get from that to this is insane.
Right.
How do you get from I'm trying to turn this motherfucker in
right.
because of what he's doing to women and children or whatever and etc. And I am that convicted in my spirit, and I have the truth and the proof of it in my possession to this. How the fuck you get to you only get to this when neither one of these motherfuckers have a soul. That's the only reason they can sit on a couch together on a show that she controls and have a say-so on, and yet she brought on a known predator. Known. I ain't talking about the rest of us. We have to believe these things. She is in a position to know.
Right.
She knew. And yet she helped but yet she clouded off of his celebrity.
Yeah.
Hey, we celebrities, my nigga.
Right.
We celebrities.
After
and we both are
mm-hmm.
power hungry in our own way. We both are greedy and soulless in our own way. We are both apathetic and shallow in our own way. That may look differently to the both of us. You may do shit that I wouldn't do. I may do shit that you wouldn't do. But nonetheless, that middle ground is the fact that we both are apathetic and we both assert our careers over everything else. And Wendy asserted her career over her moral compass.
Which kind of makes sense. That's kind of her MO, right?
I mean, and look at her slinging that wig. She just as
I know.
She just as all smiles. And
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's her MO. Yeah.
She just as I was shook.
Well, it makes me wonder if her initial reasoning for a sound in the alarm wasn't truly like to be protective.
That's a good argument.
Yes.
It might not have been.
Yes. It's just to be a bitch.
It might have been also about clout. Like,
I
want to be the bitch to break this.
Yes.
I want to be the
we
bitch
solved it.
for bringing this motherfucker down.
Exactly.
I want the credit. I want my
I just got chills. I think that's what it was. I just literally got chills.
Because if she was truly,
she didn't give a fuck about the victim. She didn't care about that.
This could not have happened.
Yeah, she was kicking teeth and punching out, on the way, stepping on heads on the way to the top. So that was just a casualty of war.
Yeah. She did it for the wrong reasons.
She sure did.
She was doing it when she was trying to sound.
Yeah. Oh my God.
She was being a YouTuber. It was all about clout. It was all about numbers and clicks and views, and she was doing what she had to be front and center.
Oh my God,
radio jocks were the first YouTubers. They were the first commentators. They, they covering stories. They pulling out of the tabloids. They looking at the algorithm. They want to be the first. They trying to break stories. They trying to find ways to be sensationalized and to go viral. So, yeah, the first YouTuber, Wendy Williams.
So when people are like, "Oh, I bet Wendy," well, I can't wait to tell Wendy, she don't give a fuck. She don't care.
They want her back, and they want her back for the mess. She was
just to talk about it. But there's no vindication in that. She don't. It's not about. Oh my God, it's not about.
Traded in her soul. She
sure did.
Traded in her soul, child.
Right. She sure did. And the fact, also, I always felt for Wendy because she isolated herself. She's like random. Side note, Dr. Heavenly on Married to Medicine. Isolate. They will screw everybody, but they're like, the only thing that's important to me is my family. Fuck everybody else, and that's not. I don't think a very good way to think about things. Like to say that your family is your only saving grace, because you do need other people besides your immediate family. You can't just be shitting on everybody except for your family, because you do need people outside your family. And this is a prime.
It's one rule of thumb in metaphysics.
Yeah.
God is all women and God is all men.
Right.
God is all men and God is all women, baby. And there ain't no such thing as compartmentalizing your bullshit.
Right. Exactly.
If you decide not to hurt your blood, it can, but you decide you're going to F off everybody else.
Exactly.
You ain't did yourself no more of a service. You might as well should have just F their ass off as well. It's going to count the same. It's going to count the same.
I concur. That's exactly how it's
the same.
That's exactly.
We be trying to compartmentalize a morality and right and wrong and all of that shit.
Nah. Exactly.
Just so we can justify our bullshit, baby. We can justify it. It ain't no motherfucking justifying it in all reality.
Right.
None at all.
Yeah.
What suggestion? Like, what did you suggest? Suggest what?
What suggestion?
Hold on, let me see. What's suggesting? I don't know what knockout is saying. You got to explain it to me. But yeah, she sold us all, baby.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how she felt. I would have loved to have been in Wendy's body right here. Like, just, this is just so interesting to me. It's just so fascinating to me. But that's also, I don't take this culture very seriously because they don't stand on business. And it's just like, y'all champion for her and then y'all forgetting all this shit. But they ain't got the nerve.
Yeah.
Y'all would drag Tasha K for doing the same shit that we did.
Right.
Y'all would drag every other messy bitch on for being the same bitch Wendy was. And it's just like, it be the hypocrisy of it all.
Or standing beside a messy bitch. That's a problem too. Standing beside, like, accepting, like, well, it's all for entertainment. No, you can't treat people. You can't do shit you can't do awful, mean-spirited shit to people just because it's entertaining.
And if you love Wendy, you gotta love Tasha, and you gotta love the rest of them messy, low down ass, dark spirited motherfuckers.
Well, people do, and that's the problem. People love it. That is the problem. They feed these people so they go lower and lower and lower and lower until they self-destruct. Not us. I mean, we do to a certain degree, I guess. You accept that darkness gonna rub off on you. But I think that's probably why she was an alcoholic. Well, not only because her childhood trauma, but the fact that she's being an asshole to all these people.
And she got
to drink. Can you cope with that?
Drink and coke it up to keep her conscious
right
being a loud voice
Right.
in her being. But you got to quiet the conscious down.
Yeah, exactly. And it does. It sure does.
She got to numb that conscious. No, ma'am. Hey, Auntie Deb. Conscious, who this woman? She sounds like Wendy in her heyday. A lot of people been saying that you sound.
I know, right? I think it's because I'm from Ohio, and I mean that's a northern accent, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Somebody called me Wendy a long time ago. I was listening to her today. Sorta. I don't have the New York coffee. I did love listening to her. I listened to her talking to Don Lemon. She does. She even said fuck. I was like, oh my God, I've never heard Wendy.
Fucked up.
Yeah, she's like, what they're doing, they're ruining my life. My life is fucked up. I loved it.
I said, my God.
I loved it.
My God.
I loved it. I hope she can get back on TV and maybe, or podcast, whatever.
No, bitch, stop dog piling all this karma on yourself, Wendy. Sit your ass down, bitch. It's enough of your karma kicking your ass. Don't let Shadow talk your ass.
No. But I think she should no. I think she can right her wrong. I think she can talk about things because she was talking about herself, and I love just listening to it. Just listening to her, just the way she talks. And she's talking about her Sephora. Like, she can talk about things that aren't celebrity related, But I think what brings in the cash is but when she was talking about her Sephora and her lipstick, like, I loved hearing that. That's what I miss about the look. She's talking about luxuriating. That was the fun part, the silliness. And back when she wore high heel shoes,
show y'all her big ass foot and her thyroid.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about that. Yeah,
let her show y'all what her hair looked like underneath her wig.
And
let her wear 4-day-old outfits.
I wonder where her cats are. About that.
Like, maybe they ought to just give her like a podcast about
their
life, and she can just talk shit about.
That's what I'm saying. I bet she can just talk
shit about Sabrina. She can talk shit about her ex-employees. Talk shit about life.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah.
Clothes and fashion, and she could just politics or whatever.
I think she could talk about stuff. I mean, she was talking. I mean, granted, it was kind of at times all over the place, but she's always been like that. But that could be, for a number of reasons.
Excuse me.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Whatever she was saying over and over again. But I think she can talk. I think she does have the gift of gab, and you don't have to. I think she has a following that she wouldn't have to go low and dirty. People will listen. Clearly, she has a cult following, and I think that would be good for her to be able to talk about her experience. Maybe the fact that, reckoning. She need to repent. She still got time. She can say, you know what? I fucked up. I heard all these people in the name of.
Said it yet. Oh, but all she going through, she ain't said it yet.
I know, but I'm saying that maybe she needs
Wendy is a full-blown fucking narcissist. She don't have the capacity to genuinely repent.
You don't think so?
No, she's a narcissist. Of course not. Wendy is a narc. That's why she's as shallow and dense as she is. I mean, they got the gift of gab like most narcs do. Good at being in power, like most narcs are. I mean, she got all the typical qualities of a narc. She's charming, self-centered, don't give a fuck, apathetic, and she's in a culture that kind of celebrates that, which is why it's a little harder to recognize it, because the culture she's in welcomes that type of arrogance and egotism and controversy and that type of kind of like hard edgeness.
Okay, so here's my question: if she's the narc, what is her Kelvin? What was he? Is he a narc also?
Yeah, it's typical. It's just a female and male narc. Yeah.
Okay, but
vibrate each other.
But are they? Is one the stronger than the other? Like the dominant one?
Ask all of the kids who have had narcissistic parents, both a narcissistic dad and a mom. Sometimes they are a unified front, and narcs do end up entangled with each other. They fuck over the whole family.
And it's sustainable? And it's sustainable.
Because it's What you think every high valued man / opportunistic woman's relationship is? It's
Oh,
a
okay.
narcissistic, yeah, it's a narcissistic dynamic. It's transactional, and that's why it works. And as long as there can be transactions, it'll always be sustainable. Yep. As long as there is use and value of each other in whatever capacity, and usually it's a shallow one, then it can work. The only time it's not going to work is when one person becomes invaluable, and then somebody got to go.
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't smear him, as a narcissist. I mean, granted, I'm sure there's very different on the spectrum. Why she didn't smear him?
I think that Wendy, because I think a big part of Wendy, as a result of a narc who's invested in her reputation and her public image, I think she didn't even want to really talk about it. Like if she could have not talked about it, she would have preferred not to, because it's embarrassing.
But why did she talk? The fact that she did, I think, made her very human. I don't know what part of the narcissism that could be, but the fact that she's like, ha ha, now I talk about people and now I'm being talked about. Like, she said that on her show.
The narcissism was the same narcissism of Tasha K crying while dressed in white underneath a light bulb, talking about the machine.
Oh.
Her. I mean, all narcs cry, but they still cry and hurt for selfish reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like substantive pain. It's pain that is a result of not getting what you want. It's a pain of,
oh, look at me, I'm sad, I'm the victim.
Accountable, it's pain derived from injury to the ego, but not a sincere substantive pain.
Got it.
Produced out of pure shallowness. Yeah.
Got it. Well, I hope her friends really truly help her, or whatever.
It's a JoJo, we're just a little too late. I would be completely on these hoes' necks if they had allowed me to do all the things that my friends allowed me to do, and then y'all asses want to come through like Superman just because I'm now embarrassing the whole kingdom. Baby, I would be on these hoes' heads if they had allowed me to do this much goddamn damage to my brand, to my life, to my health, and then had the nerve to come for me in the end.
Yeah.
In the words of Brandy, does it even I thought it almost doesn't count.
Well, don't you think she almost had to be helpless to allow someone to help her? She had to be rock bottom.
I think the people in her life, as few of them may have been, who could have told her the truth, should have chosen the truth over Wendy's ego. They should have chose the truth. Because the thing about people who live a very incubated life is that they may not surround themselves with a lot of people, but the people they do have around them mean everything to them. And if those people apply the pressure, even though it's only a few of them, if they band together, they can win against the person the friendship or relationships revolve around. Had her people took a united front, they could have applied the proper pressure. If her dad, her son, Kevin,
her mother,
her niece, her mother.
Yeah.
If the people that she cared about, the same people that she want to run to Miami to be with now, had people stood on the ultimate business and see, the reason why a lot of people can't stand on business is because we be thinking about ourselves a lot of times. I don't want to push them away. I'm not ready for them to be mad at me. I'm not ready for them to potentially punish me by walking away from their relationship if I get on their neck. We be so selfish, which is why we end up being enablers. Enabling is typically out of fear for what we think will happen to us, not the other person. So we're yes it for the sake of our personal benefit in the situation. That's why it's really important to have people that truly love you in your life and people who are truly competent, because when you are a competent person, you can tell people the truth even when you are afraid to, because your financial well-being is not connected to them. Your social well-being is not connected to them. You are a main character and a standalone character. People who don't have main character issues are the ones who end up as yes men. Only other main characters, you know, can do that work in other people's lives. But you have to really know who you are, and you have to be strong, because the person you love may punish you. I lost one of my best friends, and we're going on 2 years now of breakdown where we have not spoken simply because I caught his ass to the carpet, and he punished me by never calling me again.
Right.
And as much as I miss him and as much as I love him, I still stand by
Oh yeah.
what I did, because I know it's what the fuck he needed. And if he was any type of a fucking man, he would have taken the meat and spat out the bone, especially when I delivered what he needed in a loving way. But it wasn't even about delivery. It was about the fact that he didn't get my yes. And I think that that is a poor reflection of the fragility of his fucking ego, and is a poor reflection of the level of maturity he should be at. So miss him, love him, and fuck him. And if I had to go back again and tell his ass all over again, I would. And it's been breakdowns in my life that happened last year too, as a result of not being a yes man. I don't care, because nobody pays my bills but me. I am a main character. I do not need anybody's help for anything. And this allows me the luxury of being a complete person. Therefore, you can't even threaten me with the relationship. You can't even use the friendship or the relationship as a blackmail point, because I'm complete. I can live without you, baby. We in union because I want us to be in union, not because I need us to. So don't get me fucked up with the other insecure ass codependent bitches that you got in your life, who not gonna tell you what they need to tell your ass, because they depended upon you monetarily, they depended upon you socially, they depended upon you for whatever. And sometimes that can make me a problem. That can make me the problem. So, you know, the truth has definitely costed me. But, you know, if you really love people, you will tell them the truth. And you will lovingly tell them that truth, but nonetheless tell them the truth. You would not assert your own egotism over the principle of truth. You wouldn't shield the truth just because a person may walk away, a person may break up, a person may silent treatment you. If you can't handle those things, then honestly, you are in the relationship as the wrong person to begin with. And you're not helping people when you're not telling them what you believe they need to be told. So my brother, you know, I had like my siblings, my mother used to drive herself crazy in terms of like why my brother insisted upon being hard-headed no matter how much he got his ass whooped. And it's because she never even stood her boundaries. She didn't stand her boundaries. My brother would be on punishment for a day, if that. And privilege were already reinstated. You know, all because, you know, she didn't have the strength to go the long haul. Or she didn't have the strength to mean what she say. She didn't have the strength to be that person, you know. And it is a weakness. It's a weakness. People pleasing is a weakness. And it should be rebuked. Rebuked. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter. Get from here. Rebuked. But I'm now mad at myself because this was only supposed to be a 45-minute to an hour-long commentary, and now it's been 3 hours, and I'm sick
Oops. Okay. Oops.
of it.
Well, you know it.
And of course, Shauna would do it, because
oh, not me again. Oh no.
Yeah, because you know Todd, you know, You know, he left at the hour 12 mark. That still was a decent mark.
Well, I just have
And Shauna ass up here.
to know.
It was gonna end up 3 hours damn later.
Well, you know, at least it's not 11, so we good.
I wanted to talk about the Youngblood Jake's update a little bit as well. Some updates there. Then we know that Megan done responded to Malago scams. So it's a lot going on. I think I'm gonna take this shower.
Yeah.
See how crispy I feel after.
Right on. We'll take your time, and if you feel like you come back, if you don't, you don't.
Yes. I'll probably be back. I'm gonna get myself together.
All right. Well, thank you for the info, per usual.
Yes.
All right. Okay, bye.
All right, y'all. So that's Wendy. We all agree that Wendy should be with her family, and hopefully they make some fronts and some progress on that end. I'm also not totally against the conservatorship being there in some capacity because she seems to be doing really well, and her brain seems to be braining at a very high level, and that's due to the structure that the guardianship is providing. I wouldn't want to see that compromise, considering how bad Wendy gets when she's on her own. I don't want to see her I don't want to be hearing no reports about her being found unconscious in her apartment. I don't want to see her ass seizuring out in front of a camera anymore. I don't want to see her ass in and out of a goddamn mental facility and drug facility every other month. So I like some of the results of the conservatorship, and I'm hoping that the family can get in there and just have their fair share to be in collaboration with the conservatorship. And that, Wendy gets, the proper access to her loved ones, especially with some of her relatives, like her father being as old as he is, and it being very important that she have as much time as she needs with him. Wendy would be devastated if she, if something was to happen to her father. And that rage and anger would go toward the conservatorship. Because she's not able to indulge. So, I hope Charlamagne, DJ Envy, Just Hilarious, and her child support checks can, be helpful in getting Alex, Wendy's niece, like the right representation, or that some well-known high-powered celebrity, some well-known high-powered attorney, is hearing us and will step in to help not only Wendy, but to really help start setting the precedent for change in the New York Guardianship program, which Alex said is in shambles right now. So it's not just a Wendy issue. It's a New York and guardianship issue. There is a systemic issue. There is an internal issue. So CTV doesn't want to hear nothing if she gains her freedom and ends up in the tabloids again. Oh yeah, baby, because I'm going to be right here to remind y'all. I'm going to be, baby, if she get free from that conservatorship, baby, and she get into her Britney Spears bag, I'm going to be the bitch to tell y'all I told you. Absolutely so, baby. And yes, baby, I will not provide a safe place over here for y'all to cry about it, for y'all to whine about it, baby. And every time her ass end up in a dungeon or end up hung upside down in some damn facility or wrapped up in some damn medical blanket in the basement of some damn hospital, baby, I'm going to be right here to remind y'all of what the hell y'all did. I'm going to be right here, baby. I'm going to be the bitch who's going to be gaslighting, and I'm going to be the bitch who's going to be reminding y'all of y'all sins and y'all's goddamn transgressions. Oh, yes, I is, baby. I ain't going to want to hear nothing, honey, but Miss Wendy. And we going to speak it, baby, because that's what y'all want. Y'all think it's best for Wendy to be free. So in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter, we are petitioning for the Wendy Williams, baby, to have all her autonomy, all her coin, all her check-ins, all her savings, baby, all her Newports, okay, back reinstated into herself, baby. And she have full right and autonomy and claim constitutionally, legally, and socially to her life. And then, Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter. Give me the authority, baby, to conjure up lightning and strike the conscious crew, baby. Okay, if that in fact happens, and Wendy gets out here and acts a damn fool. Okay, so in the name of all things holy and divine, and in the upper room, sugar. Yes, God, we're gonna stand and agree in solidarity. Amen. If you enjoyed yourself, baby, whew, because the bitch is working, god damn. Send some old nasty love to the Cash App, $Conscious TV, paypal.me/ConsciousTV, email me, order tea at ConsciousTV, the Patreon, follow me, the Instagram to follow me. And once again, baby, this is a commentating channel. This is not an echo chamber, so never assume that you know what I think. Never assume, baby, that you know where I'm going, baby, because you never know, baby, okay? My perspective and my insight is going to be diverse, adverse, and unique at times, baby. Okay, you can't put your finger on where CTV gonna go with nothing, baby. You can't put your finger, baby, on where CTV is gonna land at, baby. What the hell he see in this situation? What the hell standing out to him in this situation, baby? Okay, baby. You can't keep your finger out on the mystic, baby. Okay, so that's going to be the excitement of the channel, baby, is you never fucking know what CTV going to give when he give it, baby. All right? Y'all share, thumbs up. And I'm going to take me a shower, get myself situated. And if I'm in the mood, baby, I'll see you guys in a few to get into some other celebrity things. Check out Wendy's interview on Don Lemon's platform, as well as the Breakfast Club, and sending much light and love to Wendy and her family. We will see y'all later. Peace.